The ancients spoke of a truth, a principle so fundamental that it has echoed through the ages, often mistaken for poetry, when in fact it is the very physics of creation. They taught that the universe does not hear what you say, it does not respond to the words you form with your lips. The universe feels the truth of who you are being. It responds to the silent, powerful broadcast of your inner state, the frequency of your soul. We live in a world that teaches us to build, to strive, to chase, to measure progress in linear time. We are taught that wealth is something to be acquired, a destination at the end of a long and arduous road. But what if this perception is an illusion, a crack in the lens through which we view reality? What if the very fabric of time and space is more malleable than we believe? What if financial miracles are not rare exceptions to the rule, but are in fact the natural result of aligning with the rule itself? What if the creation of wealth is not a process of doing, but a process of becoming? Not a marathon of effort, but an instantaneous shift in consciousness. This journey we are embarking on together is a journey into that sacred crack in perception. We will not be exploring tips and tricks for earning more. We will be exploring the very mechanics of reality. We will learn to stand as the conscious observer, the silent power that collapses the infinite waves of potential into a single tangible experience. This is not about positive thinking. It is about profound being. It is about understanding that you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And the moment you begin to feel that truth, to truly embody it, is the moment the world you observe begins to transform. The quest is not for what you can get. The quest is for who you can become, and in that becoming, all things are given. We begin by going to the root, to the source of the ache, the quiet, persistent feeling that drives all human endeavor and all human suffering. It is the feeling of being separate, the feeling of I here and the thing I desire out there. I, the seeker and wealth, the sought. I, the empty vessel and abundance, the ocean that must be found. This feeling is the foundational myth of our reality. It is the invisible wall against which we constantly push. It is the hidden engine behind every anxious thought about the future, every pang of comparison, every desperate act of striving. We believe, with every fiber of our being, that we are separate from what we want. That money is an external resource, a finite commodity that exists outside of us, a prize to be won, a battle to be fought. We see the world as a collection of separate objects, separate people, separate events. And in this fragmented worldview, we are but one small, vulnerable fragment, trying to gather other fragments to ourselves to feel whole, to feel secure. But this perception, as real as it feels, is a profound illusion. It is a trick of the senses, a story told by a mind conditioned to see division. The mystics and the quantum physicists, speaking different languages across centuries, have arrived at the same astonishing truth. There are no separate parts. There is only one thing, one infinite, intelligent, indivisible field of energy, one unified consciousness. This field is the source of all that is, all that ever was, and all that ever will be. It is the silent, formless potential from which every galaxy, every star, every planet, every forest, every drop of rain, and every single atom in your body is born. Think of it as a single, limitless substance. When this substance vibrates at a certain frequency, it appears to your senses as a tree. When it vibrates at another, it appears as water. When it vibrates at another, it appears as gold. When it vibrates in a highly complex and organized pattern, it appears as the hand you use to touch the world. You are not in this field, you are this field. You are this one, universal substance, temporarily experiencing itself as you. And this is the secret that changes everything. If you are made of this one substance, and all things are made of this one substance, then wealth, abundance, money, They too are made of the very same stuff. Wealth is not a separate entity. It is not a collection of objects you must hoard. Wealth is a frequency. It is a pattern of vibration within the same unified field that you are. It is a particular expression of the one substance. Therefore, the task is not, and has never been, to attract something from the outside in. The task is to recognize that the inside and the outside are a fiction. The task is to activate the frequency of wealth within your own being, because the substance of it is already there. You are already made of it. Imagine for a moment that you are a single wave on the surface of a vast, infinite ocean. As a wave, you have a distinct form. You have a beginning and an end. You can measure your height, your speed. You look around and you see other waves. Some are larger, more powerful. Some are smaller, gentler. From your perspective as a wave, you might feel a sense of lack. You might see a towering, magnificent wave on the horizon and think, I want to be like that. I need to get some of its water, so I can also be that grand. And so, you begin to struggle. You push and you pull, trying to draw water from other parts of the ocean towards you, a desperate and exhausting task. You live in constant fear that you will crash upon the shore and cease to exist, your form dissolving back into nothingness. This is the life of the ego, the life of perceived separation. It is a life of constant effort, constant comparison, and underlying fear. But then, one day, in a moment of stillness, a new awareness dawns. The wave has an epiphany. It stops looking at other waves, and it looks, for the first time, at itself, at its own essence, and it realizes, with a sudden, shocking clarity, I am not just a wave, I am the ocean. The very water that makes up its small, temporary form is the same water that makes up the grandest, most powerful wave. It is the same water that fills the deepest, most silent trenches. In realizing it is the ocean, the wave's entire reality shifts. The struggle ceases. The fear of dissolution vanishes, replaced by a profound peace. Why would it need to get more water? It is the source of all water. Why would it fear crashing on the shore? It is simply the ocean changing its form, knowing it can never be diminished. The wave still exists. It still has its unique journey, its unique expression. It still gets to dance on the surface and feel the sun and the wind. But it does so now from a place of absolute security, of infinite power, of unshakable knowing. It knows that its source is limitless. This is the shift in consciousness that we are called to make. Every time you feel the clench of financial anxiety, every time you look at your bank account with fear, every time you feel the sting of envy towards another's success, you are the wave, forgetting it is the ocean. You are believing in the illusion of your own separateness, your own limitation. The work is to gently, patiently, persistently remind yourself of the truth, to close your eyes and feel it, to feel beyond the boundaries of your skin, to sense the single vibrant energy that connects you to the air you breathe, the chair you sit on, and the silent potential that holds all wealth and all abundance. You do not need to pull the energy of wealth towards you. You are simply called to realize that you are already it. You are made of the same universal substance. The separation you feel is not a law of physics. It is a habit of perception. The journey to wealth is not a journey across a vast distance from here to there. It is the collapsing of that perceived distance. It is the simple yet world-altering realization that here and there are one. You and wealth are one. So we stand here now, at the precipice of this understanding. We accept the premise that there is no fundamental separation between us and the abundance we desire. We are the wave, awakening to our true nature as the ocean. But this raises a profound and practical question. If this is true, if we are made of the very substance of abundance itself, Why does the experience of lack feel so utterly, convincingly real? Why do our senses, our thoughts, and our circumstances so often scream the opposite message? The answer does not lie in the ocean. The answer lies in the eye of the one who is watching the wave. It lies in the power of the observer and how that observation shapes the very water it sees. We have arrived at a point of profound stillness, holding a single powerful truth. There is no separation. You and the wealth you desire are expressions of one universal substance, like two waves in the same infinite ocean. And yet, this truth is met with a paradox that defines the human condition. If we are the ocean, why do we so often feel like a single struggling wave, tossed about by storms of lack and anxiety? If abundance is our very nature, why does scarcity feel so real, so solid, so undeniably present in our lives? The answer is perhaps the greatest secret of existence, hidden in plain sight, whispered by mystics and now, startlingly, confirmed by the strange and wondrous world of quantum physics. The answer lies in the power of your gaze. It lies in the role you play, not as a participant in your reality, but as its ultimate creator. You are the observer, and the observer does not merely see the world. The observer calls the world into being. Imagine this one substance, this quantum field we have spoken of, as a realm of pure, shimmering, unformed potential. In this realm, everything you could possibly imagine exists as a wave of probability. The version of you that is financially free, living in ease and grace, exists in this field as a potential reality. The version of you that struggles, that worries, that lives in perpetual debt, also exists right alongside it as another potential reality. Billions upon billions of possibilities for health, for relationships, for joy, for sorrow, all exist simultaneously, not as concrete things, but as shimmering waves of what could be. This field is silent, it is neutral, it is patient. It holds everything and judges nothing. It is a block of uncut marble containing every sculpture ever conceived. It is a silent orchestra with every instrument tuned and ready, awaiting the signal from the conductor to begin playing a symphony. You, your consciousness, are that conductor. Your focused attention, your awareness, is the act of observation that tells this field of infinite potential which reality to collapse into form. Where you place your steady gaze, where you direct the energy of your belief and your feeling, that is the reality that solidifies from the mist of probability into the hard matter of your experience. This is the observer effect, translated from the laboratory to the landscape of your life. The universe is not giving you what you want, nor is it withholding it. It is simply, and with perfect, unwavering precision, giving you what you are observing. It is mirroring the truth of your dominant focus. If your gaze is consistently fixed upon the evidence of lack, upon the unpaid bills, upon the opportunities you've missed, upon the fear of not having enough, you are, in effect, a powerful creator commanding the universe. Show me more of this. Make this real for me. And the universe, in its impersonal, law-abiding nature, obliges. It takes the probability wave of lack and collapses it into your physical reality. This is not a punishment. It is physics. Let us make this even clearer with a metaphor. Imagine that your life, your entire physical reality, is a movie playing on a giant screen. The people, the places, your home, your work, your bank account balance, it is all the movie on the screen. Now, for most of our lives, we believe we are a character in the movie. We see ourselves on the screen, and if we don't like the scene, we try to change it from within the movie itself. We run around on the screen, trying to reason with the other characters, trying to paint over the parts of the scenery we dislike, frantically trying to rewrite the script while the movie is still playing. We try to scrub away the numbers on our bank statement from the screen itself. It is exhausting, it is frustrating, and it is ultimately futile because we are trying to change a reflection. The awakening occurs when you realize you are not the character on the screen. You are the projector in the back of the theater. Your consciousness is the projector, and the world you experience is simply the light of your awareness being projected outward, creating the story. For a moment, feel the immense power in this shift of identity. You are not the helpless actor, subject to the whims of a pre-written plot. You are the source of the plot itself. You are the projectionist. The light that shines through your projector is the infinite energy of the universe, the one substance. It is always on, always brilliant, always available. It can project any movie imaginable. The screen is your three-dimensional world, vast and ready to display whatever you project. So, if the light is infinite and the screen is passive, what determines the movie we see? What decides whether we witness a film of struggle and scarcity or one of joy and abundance? The answer is the most important element of all. The film strip running through the projector. The film is your subconscious mind. It is your deeply held beliefs, your core assumptions about yourself and the world. It is the sum total of your past experiences, your childhood programming, and the dominant feelings that you carry within your body day after day. This film is what gives the neutral light of the universe its shape and its story. If the film loaded in your projector is one that says, "I am not worthy of wealth," "Rich people are greedy," "Life is hard," "There's never enough to go around," then it does not matter how bright the universal light is. The movie projected on the screen of your life will be a perfect, undeniable reflection of those beliefs. You will see evidence of your unworthiness everywhere. You will meet people who seem to confirm that wealth corrupts. You will find that your efforts yield little fruit, proving that life is indeed hard. The movie on the screen is never wrong. It is a flawless mirror of the film inside the projector. So the real work of transformation, the true path to creating a new financial reality, has nothing to do with running around on the screen. It has nothing to do with more hustle, more struggle, more frantic action in the external world. The real work is to turn away from the screen, to walk to the back of the theater of your own mind, and to courageously, consciously change the film. It means becoming aware of the old, scratched, worn-out story that has been playing on a loop for years, perhaps for your entire life. It means seeing it for what it is, not the truth, but merely a story. And then, it means having the audacity to thread a new film into the projector, a film where the core beliefs are, "I am a direct expression of an infinitely abundant universe. Money is a beautiful energy that flows to me easily. I am worthy of profound peace and freedom." When you change the film, the movie on the screen has no choice but to change with it. This is the law. We now understand we are not victims of circumstance. We are projectors of reality. Our focused gaze, colored by our inner film of belief and feeling, is the creative force that crystallizes the formless into our lived experience. We have located the seat of our power. It is not out there in the world. It is in the quiet projection booth of our own awareness. And this brings us to the most vital of questions. If we are the projectionist, who put this old film of lack and limitation inside the machine? Where did this story come from? To truly be free, we must become archaeologists of our own minds, digging down to uncover the source of this inherited narrative. We must face the architecture of our own conditioning. We have arrived in the quiet projection booth of the mind, having realized a staggering truth. We are not the characters in the movie of our life, but the projectionist who creates it. Our world is a reflection of the film strip of belief and feeling running through our consciousness. This realization is liberating, yet it immediately confronts us with a critical and perhaps uncomfortable task. We must examine the film that is currently playing, the film of lack and limitation that has created the unwanted scenes in our life. We must ask, with gentle and fearless curiosity, Where did this story come from? For no one is born believing they are unworthy of abundance. No infant enters the world fearing the bill collector. This architecture of lack, this intricate fortress of scarcity, was built. It was constructed piece by piece, story by story, within the sacred space of your own mind. The primary architect of this structure is the part of you that calls itself I. It is the ego, the sense of a separate self. The ego is not an enemy. It is a survival mechanism born from the need to navigate a physical world. Its primary directive is to keep you safe, and it does this by creating an identity, a story of who you are based on your past. The ego is a master storyteller, a historian, a keeper of records. It remembers every wound, every failure, every moment of shame, and it weaves them into a coherent narrative. This is who you are, it says, showing you the old film clips. Remember when you failed, remember when you were told you weren't good enough, remember the struggle. This is our story, this is our identity. To deviate from this story is dangerous, unknown territory. Understand this, and it will release you from a lifetime of self-blame. The reason it is so difficult to change your financial reality is not because you are weak or undisciplined. It is because the ego, the part of you that believes it is you, perceives a change in your story as a threat to its very existence. To let go of the identity of someone who struggles is, for the ego, a form of death. And so it fights. It will subtly sabotage your efforts. It will whisper the old familiar fears right when you are on the verge of a breakthrough. It clings to the film of lack because that film is what gives it a sense of self. The true work, then, is not to fight the ego, but to love it enough to not believe its stories anymore. It is to gently say, I see you, I hear you, I thank you for trying to protect me, but I am no longer defined by that past. I am choosing a new story now. To do this, we must become archaeologists of our own consciousness, excavating the very foundations upon which this architecture of lack was built. Imagine you are trying to build a magnificent golden temple of wealth and freedom. You bring the finest materials, gleaming affirmations, powerful intentions, and clear visions of your desired life. You begin to build, and for a while it looks promising, but then, inexplicably, a wall cracks. The floor gives way. The entire structure collapses back into dust. This is the cycle of temporary success, followed by frustrating regression that so many experience. The problem was never with the golden bricks of your intention. The problem was that you were building on a rotten foundation. The wise creator does not begin with the walls. The wise creator begins with the ground. So let us begin our excavation. The first layer we encounter is the foundation of our own personal history. These are the explicit life events that have taught us the lesson of lack, the business that failed, the unexpected job loss, the period of deep financial struggle that left an energetic scar. The ego takes these events, which are simply neutral data points in a long life, and turns them into defining evidence of our identity. An event, the business did not succeed, becomes a deeply ingrained belief. I am a failure at business. A situation, there was not enough money at that time, becomes a core identity. I am someone who never has enough. To dismantle this layer is to look at these past events with new eyes. It is to separate the event from the story. You can acknowledge the pain, the fear, the difficulty without allowing it to be the defining chapter of your entire life. You thank the experience for the resilience it taught you, for the strength it forged in you, and then you lovingly release its power over your present moment. You take the film reel of that memory and you burn it with the light of your present awareness. Digging deeper, we hit a more complex layer, the pervasive conditioning of our culture and upbringing. These are the beliefs we absorbed unconsciously, the silent assumptions that became our operating system. They are the phrases our parents murmured over the dinner table, anxieties that seeped into our bones before we even had words for them. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work brutally hard for every penny. We're not the kind of people who have that. These phrases are not just words. They are hypnotic spells that program a reality of struggle. We absorbed the subtle and overt messages from our society, our schools, our religions, messages that often equate poverty with purity and wealth with greed and corruption. We were taught to feel guilty for wanting more, to shrink ourselves so as not to seem ambitious or materialistic. These beliefs are the rotting floorboards of our temple's foundation, so familiar we don't even notice they are unstable until they give way beneath us. Dismantling this requires a fierce internal honesty. It is to question everything, to ask of every belief you hold about money, is this truly mine? Or is this a story I inherited? Is this an absolute truth? Or is it simply the film that was playing in the theater of my childhood? And beneath even that, we reach the bedrock. Here we may find the deep, resonant echo of ancestral wounds. This is the pain that is not even from our own lifetime. It is the energetic inheritance of our lineage. It is the fear of famine from a great-great-grandmother, the trauma of dispossession from a grandfather who lost everything, the primal anxiety of survival that was passed down through generations of hardship. You may feel a baseline of financial anxiety that makes no logical sense in the context of your own life. This is often the echo of that ancestral bedrock. You do not need to know the specific stories. You only need to acknowledge that you may be carrying burdens that are not yours to carry. You can stand in your power in the present moment and declare yourself the end of that line of suffering. You become the circuit breaker. You honor their struggle by choosing to live a different reality, a reality of peace and abundance that was perhaps unavailable to them. You heal them by healing yourself. This is the sacred work of demolition. It is to look upon the entire architecture of lack, built by the ego from the materials of personal trauma, cultural conditioning, and ancestral pain, and to see it for what it is, an illusion. A powerful illusion, a convincing illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. You have been trying to build a golden temple on a swamp. The only sane and loving thing to do is to stop building, to stop placing your golden bricks of intention onto a foundation that cannot hold them. The work is to clear the ground, to face the stories, to feel the old feelings without judgment, and to let them pass through you, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to dismantle the structure so that you are left with nothing but clear, open, solid ground. The ground of the present moment, the ground of pure potential. And so, we stand here now. The demolition is done. The old, rotten foundation has been lovingly cleared away. We are left with a profound emptiness, a sacred void. The site is prepared. The question that now arises from this beautiful open space is, what now? How do we design the new temple? How do we write the new blueprint, the blueprint of unshakable wealth, freedom, and grace, and ensure that this time the foundation is as eternal and as solid as the universe itself? How do we impress this new design upon the quantum field in a language it not only understands, but cannot resist? The ground is now clear. The old decaying architecture of lack, with its foundations of trauma and its walls of inherited belief, has been lovingly dismantled. We are standing in a place of pure potential, a sacred emptiness. Before us lies the task and the privilege of building anew, of creating a temple of abundance not on the shifting sands of the past, but on the bedrock of cosmic law. We have the intention, the desire, the blueprint for this new reality. The question that now echoes in this clean open space is, how do we communicate this blueprint to the master builder, the universe itself? How do we place our order with the quantum field in a way that it must be fulfilled? We must first understand that the universe does not speak our language. It does not comprehend English, nor any other tongue born of air and vocal cords. It is deaf to the chatter of our logical mind, and it is unmoved by the sheer repetition of empty words. You can stand and shout your affirmations to the heavens until your voice is raw, but if they are hollow vessels, they will create no echo in the halls of creation. The universe speaks and understands only one primal, ancient, and utterly unambiguous language. It is the language of energy, the language of vibration, the language of frequency. In human terms, it is the language of feeling. Feeling is the prayer that is always heard. Feeling is the command that is always obeyed. Feeling is the currency of the quantum realm. Let us explore this. Your thoughts, your intentions, your clear and specific desires, these are the architectural blueprint of your new reality. They are essential. They provide the structure, the form, the details of what you wish to build. A vague desire is a blurry blueprint, and the universe cannot build from a blurry blueprint. So clarity of thought is the vital first step. You sketch out the beautiful rooms of your financial freedom, the strong walls of your security, the wide windows of your joyful opportunities. You see the design in your mind's eye. Many people in their journey of creation stop here. They hold the blueprint, they look at it every day, they describe it to others, and they wait for the temple to magically appear. And they are left waiting, holding a piece of paper, wondering why the ground has not been broken. This is because the blueprint itself is inert. It is a beautiful but powerless map. What is missing is the energy to make it real. What is missing is the spark that ignites the process of creation. That spark, that creative fire, is your feeling, your emotion. The sustained state of being you occupy is the electric current you send through the blueprint. It is this current of feeling that powers up the design, that transmits it from the realm of private thought into the universal field of potential, and that activates the cosmic construction crew. A thought without feeling is a cold, dead thing. A thought fused with a powerful, sustained feeling becomes a living, breathing, magnetic force that begins to immediately organize energy, bend probability, and draw the substance of the universe into the form of your design. The universe did not respond to your blueprint. It responds to the energy you ran through it. It feels the truth of your creative passion, your certainty, your gratitude, and it sets to work to mirror that truth back to you in physical form. This is why two people can use the exact same affirmation, and one will manifest miracles, while the other manifests nothing. One is simply reciting empty words, holding a powerless blueprint. The other has learned to become the feeling of the words themselves. They are not just saying, "I am wealthy." They are generating, from the core of their being, the quiet, solid, expansive feeling of security, the feeling of relief, the feeling of freedom. They are flooding the blueprint of the words with the powerful, undeniable current of genuine emotion. That is the difference between a wish and a creative act. Here, we must make a subtle but critical distinction. There is a difference between a reactive, surface-level emotion and a deep, cultivated state of feeling. A reactive emotion is like a firecracker, a quick, loud burst in response to something external. Winning a small prize, receiving a compliment, watching an exciting movie. These create fleeting sparks of happiness, but they are dependent on the outside world and fade quickly. You cannot build a temple with the light of a firecracker. A cultivated state of feeling, however, is like the sun. It is a deep, steady, self-sustaining glow that you generate from within, independent of external conditions. It is not the giddy excitement of a sudden windfall. It is the profound, quiet, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you are secure. It is the calm gratitude that comes from knowing you are provided for. It is the inner stillness of freedom, not the noisy celebration of it. This deep, abiding state of being is the sun that nourishes the seed of your desire and allows it to grow. It is the constant, steady current that the universe uses to build your temple, brick by golden brick. This redefines the very nature of prayer. We have been taught to pray from a place of lack. We beg, we plead, we ask for what we do not have. This kind of prayer is a powerful affirmation of our own emptiness. It is a blueprint of scarcity, flooded with the feelings of desperation and need. And the universe, honoring the power of our feeling, delivers more circumstances to feel desperate and needy about. The true prayer, the quantum prayer, is not one of supplication but of gratitude. It is the act of feeling thankful for the reality you desire as if it has already been given. It is closing your eyes and feeling the profound relief of all your debts being paid. It is walking through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their bank account is full. It is feeling the generosity to a friend or stranger that flows from your own sense of limitless abundance. This feeling of the wish fulfilled is the prayer that has already been answered in the unseen. It is the highest form of faith. It is the most potent creative act. By generating the feeling first, you are not pretending, you are creating. You are sending out the clear, powerful magnetic signal that this reality is now who you are, and the mirror of the world must, by law, reflect it back to you. So now we stand with a new clarity. The path forward is not through more thinking, but through deeper feeling. The language of creation is not in our heads, but in our hearts. We have the cleared ground of the present moment. We have the blueprint of our intention, and we have discovered the sacred current of feeling that brings it all to life. But this discovery leads us to the most practical and potent challenge we will face on this journey. It is easy to feel abundant when all is well. But how? How does one genuinely generate the feeling of peace and security when the evidence of the senses, the letters in the mail, the numbers on the screen, all scream a story of lack? How do you feel like the sun when you are surrounded by the cold darkness of your current circumstances? Mastering this is the key that unlocks the kingdom. It is the bridge from mystical theory to lived, tangible, miraculous reality. We stand now at the heart of the creative process, armed with a profound understanding. The universe does not respond to our thoughts alone, but to the feeling-toned frequency we broadcast from the core of our being. We know now that our feeling is the prayer, the command, the energetic current that brings the blueprint of our desires into physical form. Yet, this knowledge presents us with what seems to be an impossible paradox, a cruel catch-22. How, in a world that reflects back to us evidence of scarcity, can we possibly generate the genuine feeling of abundance? How can we feel the peace of financial freedom when the body is tense with the stress of debt? How can we feel secure when our reality screams that we are not? To attempt to simply act rich or pretend feels false, a dissonance that the universe, which only knows truth, will immediately detect. Here lies the secret. The universe is not asking you to pretend. It is not asking you to fake an external reality. It is inviting you to do something much more subtle, much more powerful, and much more authentic. It is inviting you to identify the core essence of wealth, the feeling states that are akin to it, and to cultivate those states directly. The secret is to bypass the symbol and go directly to the source. Ask yourself this question and be radically honest with your answer. If you had all the money you could ever desire, what would you truly have? What is the ultimate state you are seeking? The answer is never a pile of paper or a number on a screen. The answer is a feeling. The answer is freedom. The answer is peace. The answer is security. The answer is ease. The answer is the ability to be generous, the joy of unconstrained creation. These feelings, peace, freedom, ease, security, are the vibrational signatures of true wealth. They are the frequencies on which abundance broadcasts. The universe does not respond to the symbol of the dollar, the pound, or the euro. It responds to the energy of freedom. It is drawn to the frequency of peace. It resonates with the vibration of security. Your creative task, therefore, is not to try and conjure the feeling of having $10 million, which your logical mind will immediately reject as false. Your task is to learn how to cultivate the feeling of peace, right here, right now, in your own body. It is to find ways to generate the feeling of freedom in small, authentic doses throughout your day. It is to practice the feeling of ease until it becomes your natural state. When you do this, you become a vibrational match to abundance itself. You are tuning your instrument to the frequency of wealth, so that wealth has no choice but to resonate with you. Let us turn to our guiding metaphor. You wish for your life to be filled with the beautiful birds of abundance, opportunity, and prosperity. The person operating from a consciousness of lack grabs a net and frantically chases the birds. Their energy is needy, desperate, and aggressive. The birds, sensing this dissonant energy, are frightened and fly away. The more the person chases, the more elusive the birds become. This is the endless, exhausting hustle, the striving born of fear. It is an attempt to force an external result. The wise creator, the conscious gardener of reality, does not chase the birds. They turn their attention away from the birds and focus entirely on the garden, their own inner state of being. They understand that their only work is to make their garden the most peaceful, beautiful, and nourishing place imaginable. So they begin the sacred work of cultivation. They till the soil, removing the sharp rocks of past trauma and pulling out the stubborn weeds of limiting beliefs, the very work we have just discussed. Then they begin to plant. They plant the seeds of peace, and they water them with the practice of meditation, with moments of silent breathing, with walks in nature. They plant the flowers of joy, nourishing them by listening to music that uplifts the soul, by engaging in a hobby just for the fun of it, by laughing with a friend. These are not frivolous acts. They are essential acts of vibrational cultivation. They provide the fresh, clean water of gratitude, consciously finding things in their current reality to appreciate, no matter how small. They create the sturdy trellises of security by focusing on the unshakable truth of their own consciousness, by feeling the solid earth beneath their feet, by cultivating a deep and abiding trust that they are cared for by a loving universe. And what happens to this garden? As it becomes more peaceful, more vibrant, more nourishing, more secure, a change occurs. The birds begin to notice. A few brave ones land, finding it a safe place to rest. They tell other birds. Soon, the garden is teeming with life, with song, with the fluttering wings of the very abundance that was once so desperately chased. The birds did not come because they were caught. They came because the garden became their natural habitat. They came because its frequency was irresistible to them. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your only work is to tend to the garden of your inner state. Make your own being a vibrational habitat for peace, for freedom, for joy, and the material wealth, which is the physical counterpart to those states, must, by law, come and make its home with you. So how do we practice this? How do we tend this garden in our daily lives? You begin by microdosing the desired feeling. You want freedom? You don't need to wait for a lottery win to quit your job. Find a small, authentic way to experience freedom today. Take a new route home from work. Turn off your phone for an hour. Say a gentle no to a request that feels draining. Each small act of authentic freedom sends a powerful ping into the quantum field, saying, "This is who I am now. I am the frequency of freedom." You want security? Stand still for a moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the certainty of gravity. Feel the steady rhythm of your own breath, a rhythm that has been with you your entire life without your conscious effort. This is security. Anchor into that physical sensation. It is more real than the number in your bank account. Most powerfully, you can use your divine imagination. Close your eyes for just a moment. Bring to mind a financial concern that weighs upon you. Feel the familiar tension it creates in your body. Now, in your imagination, leap to the other side of it. Do not try to figure out how it was solved. Simply assume it is solved. Imagine you have just received the news. What is the very first physical sensation that ripples through your body? Is it a sudden, deep exhale of breath you didn't realize you were holding? Is it a loosening of the muscles in your jaw or shoulders? A warmth that spreads through your chest? That sensation, that physical feeling of relief, that is the frequency of the solution. That is the feeling tone of abundance. Your work is to memorize that feeling, to become so familiar with it that you can recall it at will, multiple times a day. By doing so, you are not pretending, you are rehearsing your future. You are calibrating your body to a new vibrational reality. This practice of cultivating your inner state, of tending to your garden, has a profound and mysterious effect on the greatest perceived obstacle between you and your desire, time. When you learn to generate the feeling of your future reality in the present moment, the rigid, linear march of time begins to soften and bend. You are no longer a prisoner of the future, waiting for an external event to grant you permission to feel good. You are becoming a master of reality, pulling the emotional essence of the future into your immediate now. This very act, this emotional time travel, is the secret to collapsing the distance, to shortening the interval between your intention and its physical manifestation. It is how you begin to perform miracles. We exist within a quiet tyranny, an invisible prison, so pervasive we have mistaken it for the very air we breathe. It is the tyranny of the clock, the relentless, marching procession of linear time. From the moment we awaken, our consciousness is stretched upon a rack, pulled taut between a past that is gone forever and a future that never truly arrives. We are haunted by the ghosts of yesterday's regrets and failures, and we are held hostage by the anxious hope for a better tomorrow. This line, this tightrope we walk from birth to death, is where the ego lives. It is the only playground the ego knows. For the ego is a creature made of memory and anticipation. It constructs our identity from the stories of what has been, and it fuels our actions with fear or desire for what is yet to come. And in this endless oscillation between two phantoms, we miss the only thing that is ever real, the only point of power we will ever have. We miss the now. All psychological suffering is born of time. Guilt, resentment, and sadness can only survive when your mind is dwelling in the past. Anxiety, stress, worry, and desperation can only exist when your mind is projecting itself into the future. Take a moment and test this. Try to feel anxious without thinking about something that might happen later. Try to feel regret without thinking about something that has already happened. It is impossible. These states of suffering are time-dependent. They require you to abandon the present moment. The entire architecture of lack, which we have worked so patiently to dismantle, is built upon this foundation of psychological time. The belief that you need to get something in the future to fix a deficit from the past is the central operating principle of a sleeping consciousness. To awaken, to reclaim your power as a creator, you must first withdraw your energy from this illusion. You must collapse the perceived distance between past and future and come to rest in the single, eternal, infinitely powerful point of reality, the eternal present moment. The now is not what we think it is. It is not that fleeting, razor-thin slice of a second that vanishes before we can grasp it. That is the ego's definition of the present, designed to make it seem insignificant. The true now is a vast, deep, timeless dimension of being. It is the silent, changeless stage upon which the entire drama of the universe, the dance of creation and dissolution, takes place. The past and future are flickering images projected upon this eternal screen, but the screen itself is always here, always now. Within this infinite now, all possibilities exist. This is not poetry. It is the closest we can come to describing the nature of quantum reality. Everything that could ever happen, every potential reality, already exists as a silent, vibrational pattern in the quantum field. All of these potentials are simultaneously present, right here, right now. Imagine you are standing in an infinite library. This library is the now. On the shelves around you are countless books, and each book represents a complete, finished timeline of a potential life for you. There is a book titled Your Life of Joyful Abundance. There is another, right next to it, titled Your Life of Constant Struggle. There are books for every conceivable variation of your life, all existing simultaneously on the shelves of this eternal library. The process of creation is not about painstakingly writing a new book, word by word, over the course of many years. The process of creation is about consciously choosing, in this present moment, which book you wish to pull from the shelf and begin to experience. Your feeling state, the vibration you emit in the now, is your library card. It is the act of reaching out and selecting your reality. When you are consumed with feelings of lack and fear, you are in this now, reaching for the book of struggle and pulling it from the shelf. When you learn to cultivate the feelings of peace and abundance in this now, as we have discussed, you are reaching for a different book entirely. The timelines themselves do not begin in the future. They begin now, with the choice you make in this moment. Or consider this. All possible realities are like radio stations, broadcasting their unique frequency continuously. Right now, there is a station broadcasting the signal of poverty consciousness, filled with the static of worry and fear. There is another station, on a different frequency, broadcasting the clear, harmonious signal of wealth consciousness, filled with the music of peace and freedom. We believe that we must travel a long, linear road called time to get from the poverty station to the wealth station. This is the illusion. The distance between these two realities is not temporal, it is purely vibrational. The act of shortening time is the act of realizing you don't have to walk anywhere. You simply have to change the frequency on your receiver, your own vibrational output, right here, right now. The moment you tune your inner state to the frequency of wealth, you begin to pick up its broadcast instantly. You start hearing the snippets of its music in the form of synchronicities, intuitive hunches, and small unexpected blessings. The clearer your signal becomes, the more the broadcast comes through, until it is the only reality you experience. The miracle was not in traveling a great distance. The miracle was in changing the dial. This is the mechanics of collapsing time. You do not wait for the future. You pull the future into you. Your desired future reality, the one where you are financially free and at peace, is just a thought, an image in your mind. It feels distant, but the feeling of that reality, the emotional frequency of it, is not bound by time. You can access that feeling now. As we explored, you can close your eyes and generate the physical sensation of relief, the calm joy of security, the expansive ease of freedom, in this very moment. When you do this, you are performing the most profound act of alchemy. You are literally pulling the vibrational essence of a future probability out of the realm of potential and anchoring it into your present moment reality. You are emotionally time traveling. You are living in the end result, not as a mental trick, but as a visceral, embodied experience. This act creates an immediate and powerful feedback loop that accelerates manifestation. By feeling abundant and secure now, you alter the signal you broadcast to the universe. The universe, the great mirror, which only knows the now, has no choice but to reflect your new signal back to you. It begins to orchestrate events, people, and opportunities that match the feeling you are emitting. It might send a small, unexpected check. It might bring a conversation with someone who offers a brilliant idea. It might simply grant you a day of profound peace and flow. This external event, this reflection, then serves as evidence that reinforces your inner state. Ah, you think, it's working. This validation makes it even easier to feel abundant and secure. So you broadcast an even clearer, more powerful signal. The universe responds with an even bigger, more obvious reflection. This is the collapse of time. It is the acceleration of the feedback loop between your inner state and your outer reality. The perceived gap between you and your desire shrinks, not because months or years have passed, but because the vibrational gap between you and your desire has been closed. Imagine the eternal now is a vast, potent block of soft, malleable clay. The past is the collection of hardened, fired pots on the shelf behind you. You can study them, you can lament their cracks, but you cannot change their shape. The future is the idea in your mind of the magnificent vase you wish to create. Most people spend their lives in a state of paralysis, either staring at the old, cracked pots of their past, or worrying about whether they have the skill to create the beautiful vase of their future. The master creator turns away from the shelf of the past and clears their mind of anxiety about the future. They turn to the only thing that is real and potent, the block of clay in front of them, right now. They plunge their hands into it, and they do not just think about the shape of the vase, they feel it. In their hands, in this moment, they feel the graceful curve, they feel the smooth, cool surface, they feel the perfect symmetry and balance of the finished product. They are not waiting to feel it when the vase is done. They are generating the feeling of the finished vase in their hands as they work the clay of the now. This feeling, this present moment, tactile, sensory experience, is the creative force that shapes the clay. The more consistently and lovingly they hold that feeling, the more rapidly the formless clay yields and takes the shape of their vision. The time it takes to create the vase is not measured by the clock on the wall. It is measured by the consistency and intensity of the creator's feeling in the now. Living this way changes your entire relationship with life. You shift from being event-oriented to being state-oriented. You are no longer desperately waiting for a specific event. The new job, the winning ticketto happen in the future so that you can finally feel good. You realize that your only work is to cultivate the state, the feeling of freedom, peace, security in the now. When you make the inner state your primary goal, you liberate the universe to deliver that state to you in a million different ways, many of which are far more magical than the single event you were fixated on. You wanted the job to feel secure, but the universe might deliver that feeling of security through a brilliant investment idea, a healed relationship, or a sudden and profound inner awakening. By focusing on the state, you open yourself to infinite possibilities. This brings a new meaning to the word patience. Patience is no longer the frustrated, teeth-gritting endurance of a reality you don't want while you wait for a future you do. That is not patience, it is suppressed suffering. True, divine patience is an active and peaceful state of being. It is the unshakable knowing that, because you have already created your desire in the unseen, because you have felt it and lived it in the now, its appearance in the physical realm is an absolute, inevitable certainty. It is the calm, quiet confidence of the gardener who has planted the seed in good soil, who waters it with love, and who trusts the sun and the rhythms of nature to do their work. There is no anxiety. There is no checking the seed every day. There is only trust. There is only knowing. This profound state of trust is the final key to creation. For once you have fully formed your desire in the clay of the now, once you have made it real in the inner world, you must perform the ultimate act of faith. You must release it. You must surrender it to the wisdom of the universe to bring it forth in its own perfect timing and its own perfect way. This act of letting go, this release of control, is the sacred and final paradox we must now embrace. We have journeyed deep into the mechanics of creation, arriving at the final, most subtle, and most powerful stage of the process. We have cleared the ground of our consciousness, dismantled the old architecture of lack, and learned to speak the universe's native language of feeling. We have stood in the eternal now, the only point of power, and have pulled the vibrational essence of our desired future into our present moment reality. We have done the sacred work. The inner creation is complete. The seed has been planted, and now we are asked to perform the ultimate act of faith, the one that feels most counterintuitive to the striving mind. We are asked to let go. We are asked to release our desire completely, to turn away from it, and surrender it to the wisdom of a higher power. This is the great and sacred paradox of manifestation. To truly possess something in the physical world, you must first be willing to release it completely in the inner world. This is not an act of surrender in the sense of defeat. It is the surrender of the warrior who, having shot their arrow with perfect aim, now rests their bow, trusting the laws of physics to guide the arrow to its target. The egoic mind rebels against this idea. Let it go? It screams. After all that work, if I let it go, nothing will happen. I have to keep focusing on it. I have to keep pushing. I have to make it happen. This frantic need to control, to manage, to constantly check on the progress of our desire is the single greatest obstacle to its fulfillment. We must understand why. When you are in a state of attachment, of desperate need, of constantly looking for evidence that your desire is on its way, what is the dominant feeling you are broadcasting to the universe? It is not the feeling of abundance. It is the feeling of not having. It is the frequency of lack. Your worry, your impatience, your neediness, these are all powerful prayers for the very absence of what you want. You are holding the beautiful blueprint of your desire, but you are flooding it with the powerful, contradictory energy of fear and doubt. The universe, which is an impartial mirror, cannot deliver the image on the blueprint when the energy you are sending with it is so overwhelmingly one of scarcity. Your attachment energetically cancels out your intention. Imagine your desire as a ship sailing towards you from a distant shore. When you are in a state of trust and detached knowing, the sea is calm and the winds are favorable. The ship can make its journey to you swiftly and directly. But when you are in a state of attachment, your worry is a howling headwind. Your fear of it not arriving churns the sea into a violent storm. Your impatience creates a thick, blinding fog. You are, with your own energy of resistance, making it impossible for the ship of your desire to reach your shore. Letting go is the act of calming the storm. It is the act of stilling the winds and clearing the fog. It is a declaration of trust that says, I know the ship is sailing. I know its captain is wise. I will simply prepare the harbor for its arrival and watch the horizon with peaceful expectation, not with panicked desperation. This is why we must clearly distinguish between detachment and indifference. They may look similar from the outside, but they are polar opposites vibrationally. Indifference is a low-energy state of resignation. It says, I don't really care if it happens or not. I give up. It is the energy of a dead battery. It has no creative power. Detachment, on the other hand, is the highest and most powerful state of faith. It is a high-energy state of profound peace and certainty. Detachment says, I am so absolutely certain that my desire is a finished fact in the spiritual realm that I no longer need to exhaust myself by thinking about it. Its physical appearance is a mere formality, a trailing echo of a reality that is already true. I can now release it and go about my life in joy and peace, knowing it is done. Detachment is not being careless. It is being free from care. Let us use a simple analogy. Imagine you go to the finest restaurant in the world. The chef is a master, known for creating culinary miracles. You study the menu carefully and you place your order with the waiter. You describe exactly what you want, how you want it prepared. This is the work of intention and feeling you have already done. Now, what is the mindset of the person who trusts the restaurant? They lean back in their chair. They enjoy the music. They sip their water. They have a pleasant conversation with their companion. They are not worried about their order. They do not feel the need to run into the kitchen every 2 minutes to check on the chef, to see if he is using the right ingredients, to ask when the food will be ready. To do so would be absurd. It would demonstrate a profound lack of faith in the mastery of the chef and the process of the kitchen. They simply trust. They know the order was received, and they know a masterpiece is being prepared for them. This is detachment. It is an active, joyful waiting, born of absolute trust. Attachment is the mindset of the frantic, untrusting patron who makes a nuisance of themselves, disrupts the kitchen, and paradoxically delays their own meal. Or let us return to our most potent metaphor, the seed. You have prepared the soil of your mind, clearing away the rocks and weeds of old beliefs. You have planted the precious seed of your desire, watering it with the powerful feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, the wise gardener's work at that specific spot is complete. They trust in the immutable laws of nature. They know that the seed contains the entire blueprint of the mighty oak tree within it, and that the soil contains all the nourishment required. The gardener who is consumed by attachment and fear, however, cannot resist the urge to interfere. The day after planting, they take a small shovel and dig up the seed. Is it working? They ask. Has it sprouted a root? They see nothing, and in a panic they bury it again. The next day they dig it up again. Anything now? This constant digging, this need for immediate proof, this disruption of the unseen process is what kills the seed. It exposes the delicate, nascent life to conditions it is not yet ready for. This is what we do when we perform our inner creative act, and then spend the following days and weeks frantically looking for external evidence, digging up our desire with the shovel of our doubt and impatience. The wise gardener plants the seed, and then they walk away. They surrender the outcome to the greater intelligence of the life force itself. Their act of walking away is not one of neglect. It is the highest form of faith. They continue to tend to the whole Gardento, maintain their own joyful, peaceful state of being, but they release their obsessive focus on that one planted seed. And then one day, as they are walking through their peaceful, beautiful garden, they notice something they were not even looking for. A tender green shoot has pushed its way up through the soil, seemingly of its own accord. It has arrived, not through force or struggle, but through trust and surrender. This state of detached faith is the goal. It is a state of restful, confident, and profound peace. But our minds are tricky. We can convince ourselves we have let go when, in reality, we are just practicing a form of suppressed anxiety. So how do we know for sure? How can we tell if we are truly in a state of trust, or if we are still subtly clinging to the outcome, still creating resistance? We do not need to guess. We have been given a perfect, infallible instrument for measuring our true vibrational state, an instrument that cannot be fooled by the stories of the mind. That unerring barometer is our own physical body. The sensations we feel, the tension or ease, the contraction or expansion, these are the language of truth. And learning to read this language is the key to knowing if we are truly aligned with the flow of creation. We have arrived at the final gate of creation, the sacred paradox of letting go. We have planted the seed of our desire in the fertile soil of the now, and understand that our final act is one of profound, restful faith. But the mind is a cunning trickster. It can whisper to us that we have surrendered, that we are in a state of trust, while deep in the undercurrents of our being, a frantic, tight grip of anxiety remains. We think we have let go, but we are merely suppressing our fear. So how do we know the truth? How do we get an accurate reading of our true vibrational state, unfiltered by the stories of the ego? we turn from the mind, the master storyteller, to the body, the keeper of all truths. For your body is incapable of deception. It is a perfect, resonant chamber, a physical manifestation of your subconscious beliefs and your energetic signature. It is your vibrational barometer, and learning to read it is the key to mastering your creative power. Your body speaks a simple binary language. It is the language of contraction and expansion. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every subtle emotional current that moves through you is instantly translated into one of these two physical states. They are the north and south of your inner compass, the yes and no of your soul's guidance system. To become a conscious creator is to become exquisitely sensitive to this language, to feel it, to honor it, and to use it as your primary guide for navigating your reality. Let us first become acquainted with the language of contraction. This is the physical vocabulary of fear, of lack, of resistance, of not having. Bring to mind for a moment a financial worry. Do not dwell on the story, but simply notice what happens in your physical form. The first thing you may notice is your breath. It becomes shallow, quick, and tends to lodge high up in your chest. The deep, life-giving rhythm of your diaphragm ceases. Next, bring your awareness to your jaw. Is there a subtle, or perhaps not so subtle, clenching, a tightening of the muscles around your mouth and temples? This is the body's primal response to a threat, an ancient instinct to brace for impact. Feel the area around your throat. There may be a sensation of tightness, of constriction, as if the channel for expression is being squeezed. Notice your shoulders. Are they creeping up towards your ears, hunching forward, protecting your heart? This is the posture of defense, the armor of "I am not safe." Drop your awareness into your solar plexus, the area of your stomach. You may feel a knot, a coldness, a churning, a hollow ache. This is the feeling of insecurity made tangible. These physical sensations are not merely symptoms of stress. They are the frequency of lack. This is what scarcity feels like in a body. It is a state of constriction, of tightness, of being closed off. It is your entire nervous system screaming, "There is a threat. There is not enough. I must protect myself." When your body is in this state, you are a fortress, and nothing new, including the abundance you desire, can get in. Now, let us explore the opposite pole. Let us learn the sacred language of expansion. Take a slow, deliberate breath. But this time, as you inhale, send the breath deep down into your belly. Feel your stomach gently expand like a balloon. As you exhale, let it fall naturally. This is the breath of safety. This is the breath of life. Now, consciously release the tension in your jaw. Let your lower teeth part slightly from your upper teeth. Feel the muscles around your mouth and cheeks go soft. This is the face of receptivity. Bring your awareness again to your shoulders. As you exhale, imagine you are setting down two immensely heavy suitcases you have been carrying for years. Feel your shoulders drop down and back, away from your ears. Feel your chest open. This is the posture of trust. This is the posture that says, "I am open to receive." Now, feel the warmth in your solar plexus, the grounded, solid feeling of your own center. Feel your feet on the floor, rooted to the earth. This entire constellation of sensations, the deep breath, the soft jaw, the open chest, the warm belly, the grounded feet, this is the physical frequency of abundance. It is the feeling of security, of peace, of allowing. This is your body in a state of grace. It is your nervous system humming with the truth that all is well. I am provided for. I am safe. This is the state of the open channel, through which the well-being of the universe can flow to you and through you without obstruction. Your body, then, is a divine compass. Throughout your day, your only task is to notice which way the needle is pointing. When you think about your desire, does your body subtly contract or expand? When you are presented with a choice or an opportunity, what is your body's immediate pre-verbal response? Does it tighten in hesitation, or does it lean forward with a sense of openness? That first, instantaneous, somatic reaction is the truth speaking, before the ego has time to construct a story about it. It is your higher self giving you a clear signal. If you find the needle pointing to contraction, do not judge yourself. Simply notice it with compassion, and then gently, manually guide it back. Take one deep belly breath. Deliberately unclench your jaw. Consciously drop your shoulders. In doing so, you are not faking it. You are consciously choosing your vibrational state. You are telling your nervous system, and by extension the universe, I choose safety, I choose trust, I choose expansion. Think of your body as a magnificent musical instrument, perhaps a cello. Your soul is the musician. When you are in a state of contraction and fear, it is as if the strings of the cello are pulled brutally tight. The slightest touch produces a sound that is sharp, jarring, dissonant, and painful. This is the vibration you are broadcasting into the field. It is a frequency of discord. But when you are in a state of expansion and trust, the strings are tuned to their perfect, resonant pitch. The music that flows from the instrument is rich, harmonious, deep, and beautiful. This is the frequency of well-being, the vibration that is in harmony with the symphony of the universe. Your work is not to play the instrument harder, not to strive and force a melody. Your work is to constantly, gently, lovingly tune the instrument. Every conscious breath, every released shoulder is an act of tuning, and a perfectly tuned instrument, played with love, cannot help but attract a rapt and appreciative audience. So you now possess a tool that is flawless, a guide that cannot lead you astray. Your mind can lie, your friends can give you bad advice, the world can present you with confusing illusions, but your body, in its profound and simple wisdom, will only ever tell you the truth of your alignment. It will tell you when you have truly let go and when you are still holding on. The state of detached faith we spoke of feels a certain way. It feels like an open chest and a deep breath. The state of attachment feels like a clenched jaw and a knot in the stomach. Honor this guidance. Trust it above all else. Make it your daily practice to check in with your vibrational barometer, to feel whether you are contracted or expanded. For when you learn to consciously and consistently live in a state of physical expansion, you not only change your inner world, you fundamentally change the nature of your actions in the outer world. You stop moving from a place of fear and begin to act from a place of inspiration. The frantic pushing of a contracted state gives way to the graceful and powerful flow of an expanded one. And this changes everything. We have attuned ourselves to the wisdom of the body, learning to use its language of contraction and expansion as our infallible guide. By consciously choosing the state of expansion of trust, openness, and peace, we have tuned our instrument to the harmonious frequency of the universe. This inner alignment is the cause, the seed of all that is to come. But a common misunderstanding arises at this point on the path. Many come to believe that the work of creation is entirely passive, that one must simply sit in a state of bliss and wait for riches to fall from the sky. This is a subtle distortion of the truth. You are a co-creator with the universe, and creation involves both being and doing. Action is a necessary and joyful part of the process. However, the source of your action is everything, for there are two kinds of action, as different as night and day, and they produce vastly different results. The first is born of contraction and fear, and it is called the desperate hustle. The second is born of expansion and trust, and it is called inspired action. Let us first dissect the anatomy of the desperate hustle, for it is the dominant mode of action in our modern world, and the source of so much burnout and disillusionment. The hustle is born from the core belief, it's all up to me, and There is not enough, so I must force things to happen. Its fuel is anxiety, its engine is fear. When you are operating from a state of physical and emotional contraction, your actions will carry that same tense, constricted quality. The hustle feels heavy. It feels like pushing a massive boulder up a steep hill. Every step is an effort. Every day is a battle. You wake up with a feeling of pressure, a long to-do list, and a sense of being behind before you've even begun. The hustle is characterized by brute force. It is the belief that more is always better. It is sending out 100 generic resumes instead of one perfectly crafted letter. It is making 50 cold calls with a tight jaw and a nervous stomach. It is networking with a frantic energy, trying to meet as many people as possible, hoping one of them will be the answer to your problems. It is working 12-hour days, not because you are in a state of joyful flow, but because you are terrified of what might happen if you stop. It is a constant state of being busy, a badge worn to prove your worth and to keep the demons of scarcity at bay. The desperate hustle is loud, it is chaotic, and it is profoundly draining. And what are its results? The returns are almost always meager in proportion to the monumental effort expended. You push the boulder all day with all your might, only to find it has moved a few inches. This meager result then reinforces your core belief. See, life is hard, making money is a struggle, and so you are trapped in a self-perpetuating cycle of effort and exhaustion. This is the experience of rowing a boat with all your strength against a powerful, invisible current. You are expending phenomenal energy simply to avoid being swept backward. Now, let us turn to the sublime alternative, inspired action. This form of action is not born from a fearful mind, but from a quiet, intuitive knowing that arises in a state of peace and expansion. It is the natural consequence of having tuned your instrument. When your being is in a state of trust, you become a clear channel for a higher intelligence. Inspired action does not come from a place of, I have to make something happen. It comes as a gentle, spontaneous nudge from a place of, it feels right to do this now. Its fuel is joy, its engine is trust. It does not feel like pushing a boulder. It feels like stepping into a flowing river and being carried effortlessly downstream. Inspired action is characterized by its elegance, its precision, and its seemingly magical timing. It is often illogical. It may be the sudden, inexplicable urge to take a different route home, where you run into an old friend who has the perfect solution to a problem you've been wrestling with. It might be the impulse to finally clean out that cluttered closet, and in the back, you find something you thought was lost forever. It might be the quiet whisper that tells you to rest, to read a book, to do nothing, and in that state of non-resistance, the perfect idea floats into your mind, fully formed. An inspired action could be a single 10-minute phone call that accomplishes more than a month of frantic hustling. It is not about the quantity of effort, but the quality of alignment from which the effort arises. Imagine two hunters entering a vast forest. The first hunter represents the desperate hustle. He believes he must conquer the forest through force. He crashes through the undergrowth, making a tremendous amount of noise. He carries a heavy machine gun and fires at every shadow that moves, wasting his energy and his ammunition. He is driven by the fear that the forest is empty and he will starve. His frantic, fearful energy scares away every creature for miles. After a long, exhausting day, he returns home with nothing, convinced that the forest is barren and life is a struggle. The second hunter represents inspired action. He enters the forest, and his first action is to become still. He sits at the base of a great tree, closes his eyes, and attunes his senses to the rhythm of the woods. He is not hunting, he is listening. He is in a state of relaxed awareness, trusting that the forest will provide. After a period of stillness, a quiet knowing arises within him. It is not a loud thought, but a gentle impulse. He rises, and without effort or hurry, he walks silently to a specific clearing. He does not know why he is going there, he only knows that it feels right. As he arrives, a magnificent stag, the very prize he was seeking, steps out from behind the trees and into his path. The hunter raises his bow, takes one calm, clean, and effortless shot, and his work is done. He did not conquer the forest, he harmonized with it. His success came not from struggle, but from stillness, listening, and trusting the intuitive impulse that arose from that stillness. This is the way you are meant to operate in the world. Your primary work is to become the second hunter. It is to cultivate the inner state of expansion and trust, to become still and listen. The intuitive nudges will come. They will feel light, easy, and often joyful. They will carry a sense of rightness, even if they don't make logical sense. Your only work is to honor these whispers, to trust these gentle pushes from the universe. You may get the nudge to call a person you haven't spoken to in years. Don't ask why, just do it. You may get the impulse to visit a bookstore, or a park, or a city you've never been to. Trust it. As you begin to act on these inspired impulses, no matter how small, you signal to the universe that you are listening. You are demonstrating that you are ready to move in harmony with its current. And when the universe sees that you are paying attention, it begins to speak to you more clearly. It starts leaving a trail of clues for you, confirming you are on the right path. These clues, these meaningful coincidences and signs, are the universe whispering back to you, and learning to decode this beautiful magical dialogue is our next great adventure. When you make the profound shift from desperate hustle to inspired action, you cease to fight against the current of life and begin, for the first time, to move in harmony with it. You have tuned your instrument, your physical and energetic body, to the frequency of trust and expansion. You have started to listen to the quiet, intuitive whispers that guide you from within. And as you begin to trust and follow these gentle nudges, something truly magical begins to occur. The universe, which may have once seemed indifferent or even hostile, awakens. It recognizes you. It sees you as a conscious partner in the dance of creation, and it begins to engage with you in a breathtakingly intimate dialogue. It begins to whisper back. This dialogue does not come in human words, but in the silent, symbolic language of meaningful coincidence, the sacred language of synchronicity. What is a synchronicity? It is a tear in the fabric of ordinary reality, a moment when the inner world of your thoughts and feelings and the outer world of physical events align in a way that is so precise, so meaningful, that it defies all notions of mere chance. It is the universe winking at you. It is a signpost on the path, a confirmation from the cosmos that you are moving in the right direction. To the skeptical mind, these events are simply random coincidences, but to the awakened creator, they are understood as part of a responsive, intelligent feedback system. They are the mirror of the world beginning to reflect your new inner state back to you, not with a long delay, but in near real time. Imagine you are tuning an old analog radio. When you are far from the correct frequency, when you are living in a state of contraction, fear, and disconnection, all you hear is loud, meaningless static. This is a life that feels random and chaotic. As you begin to do your inner work, as you clear away your limiting beliefs and cultivate a state of trust, you begin to turn the dial of your consciousness. You get closer to the frequency of universal intelligence. At first, you may just hear a fleeting snatch of a melody through the static, a single clear word in a sea of noise. This is your first synchronicity. It is the universe's way of saying, yes, that's it. You're getting warmer. Keep tuning. The more you align yourself with the frequency of love and trust, the clearer the signal becomes, until the static fades away completely and you are living in a constant state of clear communication, hearing the beautiful harmonious music of a universe that is conspiring in your favor. This cosmic dialogue can take many forms. One of the most common in our digital age is the phenomenon of repeating numbers. You may find yourself glancing at the clock at exactly 11:11, or seeing the number sequence 222, 333, or 444 on license plates, receipts, and billboards. Do not get lost in complex, dogmatic interpretations of what each number means. Instead, see them for what they are at their core. A gentle tap on the shoulder from the universe, a digital wink, a simple reassuring nod that says, "I see you. You are in alignment in this very moment. Keep thinking this way, keep feeling this way." It is a confirmation that your signal is being received, loud and clear. The universe will also speak to you through the channels of media and overheard conversations. Have you ever been wrestling with a specific question in your mind, only to turn on the radio and hear a song whose lyrics answer your question with stunning precision? Have you been pondering a decision and then walked past two strangers on the street who are in the middle of a conversation about that exact topic? This is not an accident. When you are a clear channel, the universe will use whatever means are at its disposal to deliver the message you need to hear. It will use the mouths of others, the words on a page, the scenes in a film. Your job is to be aware, to listen with more than just your ears, and to recognize the message that is meant for you. You may find nature itself beginning to communicate with you. You might see a specific animala, majestic hawk soaring overhead, a delicate dragonfly landing on your hand at a moment of pivotal decision or deep contemplation. The animal becomes a living symbol. Again, the meaning is not found in a book, but in your own heart. What does that creature represent to you? Strength, transformation, freedom. Its appearance is a reflection of a quality that is awakening within you, or a quality you are being asked to embody. Most powerfully, synchronicities appear as seemingly chance encounters and perfect timing. As you move through your day, guided by inspired action, you will find yourself in the right place at the right time with an almost supernatural ease. You'll decide to visit a coffee shop you've never been to before and run into the one person who can help you with a project you've been stuck on. An old friend will call you out of the blue, just as you were thinking of them, to offer you an opportunity. The book you need will practically fall off the shelf and into your hands at the library. This is the universe orchestrating events on your behalf. It is the result of you moving with the current, allowing life to bring you what you need rather than you chasing after it. So what is the proper response when the universe winks at you? How do you engage in this dialogue? The first and most important response is simple acknowledgement. A quiet, internal thank you. When you see the repeating numbers, when you hear the resonant phrase, when the chance encounter happens, take a moment to pause and mentally nod to the universe. Acknowledge that you have received the message. This simple act of gratitude completes the feedback loop. It tells the universal intelligence, message received. I'm listening. This encourages more communication. It's like a friend leaving you a series of encouraging notes along a path. If you ignore them, they may eventually stop leaving them. But if you acknowledge each one with appreciation, they will be delighted to leave more. The second key is to maintain a state of relaxed awareness. Do not fall into the ego trap of desperately hunting for signs, of trying to force meaning onto every single event. This turns a joyful, magical dance into an anxious, intellectual exercise. You will know a true synchronicity by the feeling it produces within you. It will feel like a small, pleasant shock of recognition, an inner aha, a feeling of resonance that gives you goosebumps. It should feel like a delightful surprise, not a problem to be solved. Trust that feeling. It is your soul recognizing itself in the mirror of the world. When you live this way, life transforms from a monologue of your own thoughts into a rich and interactive dialogue with a living, breathing cosmos. You begin to understand that you are not alone, that you are being guided, supported, and loved in every moment. You take your inspired action, the universe whispers back with a confirming synchronicity, and you receive it with gratitude. This creates a beautiful, self-reinforcing upward spiral of creation and communication. But what if you wish to amplify this connection? What if you want to turn these gentle whispers into a clear and constant conversation? There is one power, one frequency, that acts as a universal amplifier for all good, a force that takes the small spark of a synchronicity and fans it into a roaring fire of continuous miracles. This master key to the kingdom of abundance is the profound, world-altering power of gratitude. We have learned to move with the current of inspired action, and in doing so, we have opened a dialogue with the universe. We have begun to notice the whispers back, the winks of synchronicity that light up our path and confirm our alignment. This interactive dance is beautiful, a sign that we have shifted from being a victim of circumstance to a conscious partner in creation. But what if we wish to turn this gentle whisper into a clear, joyful and continuous conversation? What if we wish to not only receive guidance, but to actively amplify the good that is flowing towards us? There exists a master key, a universal frequency that acts as a quantum accelerator for all manifestation. It is a force so powerful that it can dissolve resistance, heal old wounds, and magnetize your desires to you with astonishing speed. This force is not complex or difficult to attain. It is the simple, profound, and world-altering power of gratitude. We must begin by redefining gratitude, by rescuing it from the shallow waters of social politeness and recognizing it for the potent metaphysical technology that it is. We are taught from a young age that gratitude is a moral duty, a polite thank you that we offer in response to a gift. This external reactive form of gratitude is fine, but it holds little creative power. Many of us, when encouraged to practice gratitude, feel a sense of resistance. It can feel like a chore, or worse, a form of spiritual bypassing, a way of pretending everything is okay when it is not. This resistance comes from trying to think gratitude, to force it with the mind. But true transformative gratitude is not a thought. It is a visceral, physical, emotional state of being. It is a frequency that you embody. It is the felt sense of appreciation that floods your entire nervous system, a direct and tangible experience of the state of expansion we have explored. It is not something you do, it is something you become. And in that becoming, you align yourself with the very substance of abundance itself. The power of gratitude is twofold, and we must master both aspects to become conscious creators. The first aspect is gratitude for what is. This is the practice of turning your attention to the blessings that already exist in your life, right now, in this moment. To the mind trapped in scarcity, this can seem trivial. Why should I be grateful for the air I breathe? It scoffs when I can't pay my rent. But this misses the profound physics at play. When you can find a feeling of genuine, heartfelt appreciation for something in your present reality, you are broadcasting a powerful, unambiguous signal to the quantum field. That signal says, I have enough. It says, my life is already blessed. It says, I am provided for. The universe, which is an impartial mirror, receives this signal of having enough, and its only possible response is to give you more to have enough of. It is a perfect feedback loop. The frequency of gratitude for what you have is the magnetic opposite of the frequency of lack. Think of it this way. The state of lack is a state of constant focus on what is missing. It is an energy of holes, of emptiness, of gaps. When you are in this state, you are a vibrational match to more holes, more emptiness, more gaps. Gratitude is a universal solvent for this illusion. It is impossible to feel genuine gratitude and to feel a sense of lack in the same instant. Try it. Bring to mind something you are truly, deeply grateful for: the love of a pet, the beauty of a sunset, the taste of clean water. Feel that warmth spread through your chest. Now, in that exact same moment, try to feel the cold panic of scarcity. You cannot. Gratitude expels it. It cannot survive in the same vibrational space. Therefore, a consistent practice of gratitude for what is literally rewires your nervous system and retrains your energetic field to be a vessel for fullness, not for emptiness. Your primary practice is not to hunt for things to be grateful for, but to notice the ever-present miracles you have been overlooking. Be grateful not for the house, but for the very concept of shelter. Be grateful not for the food, but for the miracle of your body's ability to digest and turn it into life force. Be grateful for the unfathomable intelligence that beats your heart and breathes your lungs without any conscious effort from you. By anchoring your gratitude in these eternal, undeniable truths, you build your house upon the rock of what is real and abundant, and it can never be shaken by the fleeting storms of circumstance. This practice alone is life-changing. But to collapse time and accelerate the arrival of your desires, we must engage with the second, more advanced aspect of this power: gratitude for what is coming, practiced as if it is already here. This is the ultimate quantum leap of faith. This is the act of giving thanks for the money you desire before it has appeared in your bank account. It is feeling the profound appreciation for the perfect partner before you have met them. It is expressing heartfelt gratitude for the healing of your body before the symptoms have disappeared. This is not pretending. This is creation at the highest level. It is based on the absolute understanding that your desire, once you have created it in your feeling state in the now, is already a finished fact in the quantum field. It is real. It is done. Its journey into your physical perception is a mere formality. Your gratitude is the act of placing a cosmic seal of approval upon that finished creation. It is the final, triumphant Amen at the end of a prayer. A prayer of asking pleads with the universe from a position of lack. A prayer of gratitude commands the universe from a position of fulfillment. When you can generate the genuine feeling of thanks for your answered prayer, you are collapsing the vibrational distance between you and your desire to zero. You are matching its frequency perfectly. You are telling the universe with unshakable conviction, the reality where I have this is my reality now. And the universe, which can only mirror your state of being, must rush to rearrange the world of form and shadow to match the truth of your conviction. Imagine gratitude as a magnificent, powerful magnifying lens. When you focus this lens on even the smallest good thing in your current life, a single ray of sunshine, a kind word from a stranger, it gathers that small light and intensifies it, making it feel larger and more significant. This is gratitude for what is. But when you use this same powerful lens to focus on the unseen seed of your desire in the quantum field, you perform a miracle. You gather the infinite creative light of the universe and focus it into a concentrated beam right onto your desire, warming it, nourishing it, and accelerating its process of germination and growth by an order of magnitude. Gratitude for your future reality is the most potent accelerator of manifestation there is, but the power of gratitude does not end with creation. It is also the most powerful healing force at your disposal. The deepest anchors of lack consciousness are often tied to the traumas and pains of our past. We carry resentment, bitterness, and a sense of victimhood about the hardships we have endured. These dense, low-frequency emotions act as a constant drag on our creative energy. Gratitude is the alchemical fire that can transmute this leaden pain into the pure gold of wisdom. This is not about being grateful for the trauma. It is about being grateful for the strength you were forced to discover because of it. It is about being grateful for the compassion you developed, for the new path it forced you onto, for the resilience that was forged in you by the very fires that you thought would consume you. This is a sacred reframing. You shift the story from "this terrible thing happened to me" 2, this profound lesson was revealed for me. The moment you can genuinely thank a past hardship for the strength it gave you, you reclaim all of the creative power that was trapped in that story. You cease to be the victim of your past and become the empowered beneficiary of its wisdom. The past, which was once a toxic sludge in the soil of your consciousness, is composted. It is transformed by the heat of your gratitude into the richest, most fertile ground imaginable. And it is from this healed, empowered soil that your most magnificent future creations will grow. This is why gratitude cannot be a fleeting thought. It must become a practice, a ritual, a way of being. Let it be the first thing you connect with upon waking, and the last thing you touch before sleep. Keep a journal and fill it not just with things, but with feelings, sensations, and qualities you are thankful for. Take gratitude walks, where your sole purpose is to notice the overlooked beauty and goodness in your world. Most importantly, express it. Let the people in your life know you are grateful for them. Let this divine energy flow not just within you, but through you and out into the world. The goal is to eventually move from doing gratitude to being gratitude. It becomes the lens through which you see everything, the constant harmonious background music to your life. In this state, you become a walking, talking vortex of abundance, a magnet for miracles. As you begin to wield this powerful healing force, as you use gratitude to alchemize the pain of your own personal past, you may come to find that some of the deepest, most stubborn patterns of scarcity you feel are not entirely your own. They are phantom pains, emotional echoes from a past that predates your own birth. They are the wounds of your lineage, the struggles of your ancestors, carried silently in your energetic DNA. To build your temple of abundance on truly solid ground, your compassionate, grateful awareness must now be brave enough to turn towards this deep, inherited pain and to offer it the light of healing. We have delved into the transformative power of gratitude, learning to use it as a quantum accelerator and a profound healing force for the wounds of our own personal past. But as we clear the layers of our own history, some of us may find a stubborn, persistent residue of lack that remains. It may manifest as a free-floating anxiety about money that has no logical source in our life experience, or a deep, irrational fear of losing everything, even when things are going well. It may be a pervasive feeling of unworthiness that no amount of personal success can seem to quell. When we encounter these deep, seemingly causeless patterns, it is possible we have reached a new layer of the archaeological dig of our consciousness. We have reached the bedrock of our being, where we carry the silent, energetic inheritance of our lineage. We have come face to face with the ancestral money wound. This is not a mystical fantasy. It is a recognition that we are not isolated islands. We are the living, breathing culmination of a long, unbroken chain of human lives. We carry our ancestors within use in the color of our eyes, in the shape of our hands, and also in the subtle energetic imprints left by their most powerful emotional experiences. The intense emotions related to survival fear, struggle, famine, war, loss can create deep grooves in the energetic field of a family line, passed down from generation to generation like a silent, invisible heirloom. Your great-grandmother's terror during a depression, your grandfather's shame at a business failure, the centuries of struggle endured by a lineage of poor farmers. These experiences do not simply vanish. Their emotional echoes can become part of our own subconscious operating system, programming us with fears and limitations that are not our own. You may be living out your ancestors' belief that life is a struggle, never realizing it is not your own truth. To acknowledge this is not to place blame or to see yourself as a victim of your heritage. On the contrary, it is to step into your ultimate power. It is to recognize that you, as the conscious, awakened member of your lineage, have been given a sacred and profound opportunity. You have the ability to become the healer of your family line. You are the one who can stop the cycle of trauma. You are the one who can finally put down the heavy burdens that your ancestors were forced to carry. You are the circuit breaker. Imagine your lineage as a beautiful historic house that you have inherited. You love this house. It is the source of your very life. But for generations, the inhabitants of this house have had problems with the electricity. The lights constantly flicker, fuses blow for no reason. Sometimes, a room is plunged into total darkness. This is the recurring financial instability, the sudden crises, the patterns of lack that have plagued your family. For generations, everyone has blamed the individual light bulbs. They replace them, they get frustrated, they accept that the house just has bad luck. They have been blaming themselves for the symptoms, never realizing the problem is hidden deep within the walls. But you are the first inheritor of this house to have studied electricity. You have the tools of awareness. You are not content to just keep changing the light bulbs. You decide to look at the source of the problem. You open up the walls and you discover the truth. The house is filled with old, frayed, outdated, and dangerous wiring. This is the ancestral trauma. This is the wiring of "there's never enough, we're not good enough, the world is unsafe." Seeing this, you realize it was never your fault that the lights flickered. It was never your parents' fault. It was the system itself that was faulty. With this compassionate understanding, you undertake the most important renovation project of all. You make the conscious decision, this pattern of faulty wiring stops with me. You become the circuit breaker. You go to the main fuse box of your consciousness and you deliberately switch off the power to the old system. This is the act of consciously withdrawing your belief and your energy from the inherited patterns. Then, with love and care, you begin the work of rewiring the house. You pull out the old, frayed cords of fear and replace them with new, high-capacity, perfectly insulated wiring of safety, worthiness, and abundance. You are not destroying the house. You are honoring it. You are healing it. You are making it safe and brilliantly lit for yourself and for all future generations who will call it home. By healing yourself, you retroactively heal the past and proactively bless the future. This healing is not an intellectual exercise. It is a deep, somatic, and spiritual process. It is a ritual of release. Find a quiet moment to perform this sacred act for yourself. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and place a hand over your heart. Take a few deep breaths, and in your mind's eye, call forth an image of your ancestors. See your parents, and behind them, their parents, and behind them, theirs, stretching back in a long line through time. You do not need to know their names or their stories. Just feel their presence. First, offer them your compassion. Feel, in your heart, a sense of empathy for the difficult times they lived through. Acknowledge their hardships, their fears about providing for their families, their unfulfilled dreams. See them not as flawed individuals, but as souls doing the best they could with the awareness they had. Then, with a feeling of profound love and respect, begin the act of release. You can say these words, either silently in your heart or whispered aloud. To all my ancestors, known and unknown, I see you and I honor you. I thank you for the gift of life that has flowed through you to me. I acknowledge the pain you endured, the fears you carried, and the struggles you faced. Your journey is now complete. With love, and for my highest good and the highest good of all, I now release the energetic burdens that are not mine to carry. I release the vows of poverty. I release the fear of loss. I release the belief in scarcity and struggle. I lovingly give all of it back to the light, to be healed and transformed. It is not mine, and I am now free. Feel a subtle shift as you do this. Feel the energetic cords being dissolved. Feel the heavy cloak being lifted from your shoulders. And now, in this space of freedom, make your new, powerful declaration. Stand as the sovereign representative of your lineage and state with conviction. I am the circuit breaker. I am the one who heals the line. In this moment, I choose a new reality for myself and for my entire family line, past, present, and future. I choose peace. I choose joy. I choose freedom. I choose unshakable security. I choose overflowing abundance. And so it is. Breathe deeply into this new truth. Feel the brilliant, new, powerful energy of this upgraded wiring flowing through you, illuminating every cell of your being. This act of ancestral healing is one of the most profound gifts you can give to yourself and to the world. By releasing the inherited weight of the past, you have cleared one of the deepest and most stubborn blockages to your own prosperity. You have purified the river of your lineage, allowing it to flow clear and strong. You have solidified the foundation of your temple, ensuring it is built not on the shaky ground of trauma, but on the solid bedrock of love and freedom. The channel is now clearer than it has ever been. The old dams have been broken. The pipes have been cleansed of the sediment of generations. And now you are faced with a new, beautiful, and joyful challenge. With the blockages removed, a far greater flow of universal abundance is now available to you. Your next task is to learn how to expand your own capacity, to strengthen your own vessel, so that you are able to receive the very blessings you have so bravely cleared the way for. We have undertaken a profound journey of healing. We have stood with compassionate awareness at the site of our deepest personal and ancestral wounds, and with the sacred power of gratitude and forgiveness, we have cleared the debris of generations. The foundation of our temple is now solid. The channel of our being is now clearer than it has ever been. The great river of universal abundance, no longer choked by the sediment of past traumas, is now free to flow towards us. And so we stand here, in this new open space, and we wait, and we wait. And we may find that the flood of prosperity we expected is still just a trickle. This can be a point of great confusion and frustration. We have done the work, cleared the blockages, so where is the result? The answer lies in one of the most overlooked, yet most critical aspects of creation. We have become masters of asking. We have become experts at doing, at giving, at clearing, but most of us are utterly inept at the final, crucial art of receiving. Imagine you have performed a powerful ritual to call forth a life-giving rainstorm. You look up and the sky darkens, the clouds gather, and a magnificent deluge begins to fall from the heavens, just as you commanded. But in your hands, you are holding only a tiny thimble to catch the downpour. The abundance is real, the supply is infinite, but your capacity to take it in is minuscule. This is the tragic state in which many spiritually minded people live. They are powerful givers, devoted helpers, and chronic overexerters, yet they have built a massive dam within their own being that blocks the inflow of the very good they seek. They are trying to live by only exhaling, wondering why they feel so breathless and depleted. To become a vessel for true wealth, you must become a gracious and expansive receiver. And to do that, you must first courageously examine the reasons you have been blocking the flow. Our society has conditioned us to believe that it is noble to give and somehow selfish or shameful to receive. We praise the martyr, the selfless helper, the person who gives until they have nothing left. We build our identity around being the strong one, the one who provides, the one who never needs anything. This identity feels virtuous, but it is energetically unsustainable and born of a deep misunderstanding of universal law. Life is a rhythm of giving and receiving, of exhaling and inhaling. To only do one is to invite imbalance and eventual collapse. Beneath this conditioned identity lie the deep, primal fears that cause us to hold up the thimble instead of a great basin. The first and most pervasive fear is the fear of unworthiness. It is the quiet, insidious whisper of the ego that says, Who are you to receive such blessings? You haven't done enough. You aren't good enough. You don't deserve it. This feeling of unworthiness acts as an energetic repellent, a force field that deflects the good that is trying to reach you. If the universe attempts to send you a gift of $1,000, but your subconscious belief is that you are only worthy of 10, your own energy field will unconsciously orchestrate events to ensure you only receive the 10. You will miss the opportunity, make a mistake, or sabotage the gift, all to remain consistent with your deeper belief about what you deserve. The second fear is the fear of obligation. Many of us were taught that nothing is free. If someone gives us something, we immediately feel indebted, as if a weight has been placed upon us. We think, if I accept this gift, this help, this opportunity, what will they want from me in return? This turns the joyful act of receiving into a stressful transaction. It makes us suspicious of generosity. We prefer to struggle on our own rather than accept help, because being independent feels safer than being obligated. This fear closes us off from the helping hands of both the universe and the people it sends to support us. It keeps us trapped in a prison of our own making, refusing the very key that could set us free. The third fear is the fear of visibility and attack. This is a deep, primal fear of what having too much will mean. The subconscious mind worries, if I become truly wealthy and successful, I will become a target. People will be jealous. They will criticize me. They will try to take what I have. I might lose it all and experience the pain of that loss. For many, it feels safer to remain small. It feels less risky to struggle in quiet anonymity than to stand in the full, brilliant and vulnerable light of success. And so, we unconsciously keep our floodgates closed, allowing only a small, manageable trickle of abundance to flow into our lives, just enough to get by, but never enough to make us feel like a target. To heal this, we must relearn the very metaphysics of flow. The entire universe operates on a perfect, balanced rhythm of giving and receiving. The sun gives its light, and the earth receives it. The earth gives nutrients, and the plant receives them. The plant gives fruit, and we receive it. It is a constant, effortless, joyful exchange. Your own body is the perfect teacher. With every moment, you engage in the sacred rhythm. You receive the gift of oxygen with every inhalation. You give the gift of carbon dioxide with every exhalation. What would happen if you decided that it was more noble to only exhale? You would perish in seconds. What would happen if you tried to only inhale? You would also perish. Life, health, and vitality exist only in the balance, in the easy, trusting rhythm of both giving and receiving. Many of us are spiritually suffocating because we have been trying to live our lives by only exhaling our energy, our help, our resources, while refusing to fully, deeply, and gratefully inhale the infinite abundance the universe is offering. Your consciousness is like a bay, connected to the infinite ocean of universal supply. When you are a gracious receiver, the channel between your bay and the ocean is wide open. The tides flow in and out, constantly refreshing, cleansing, and replenishing the life within your bay. The water is clear, vibrant, and teeming with life. But when you are blocked to receiving by fear and unworthiness, it is as if you have built a great seawall at the mouth of your bay, with only a tiny pipe to let a trickle of water through. The water level in your bay drops. It becomes stagnant, murky, and depleted. This is the state of burnout, of struggle, of lack. The ocean of abundance has not gone anywhere. It is still right there, on the other side of your wall, waiting with infinite patience. The work of expanding your capacity to receive is the work of joyfully demolishing that seawall, of opening your floodgates and allowing the life-giving, refreshing abundance of the whole ocean to once again flow freely into your being. This requires practice. You must retrain your nervous system to accept and embody the frequency of receiving. You can begin with something simple, a compliment. The next time someone offers you a genuine compliment, notice your instinctive reaction. Do you deflect it? Oh, this old thing. Do you diminish it? It was nothing really. Do you feel an immediate need to give one back? These are all symptoms of a blocked receiver. The new practice is to simply stop, take a breath, look the person in the eye, smile and say, "Thank you." And, as you say it, consciously feel the positive energy of their words landing in you. Let it in, allow it to nourish you. This small act retrains your entire system to be open to receiving positive energy without deflection or guilt. Next, you must learn to receive from the universe itself in a conscious way. Create a daily practice you might call a receiving inventory. At the end of each day, take a journal and write down everything you received that day. Do not limit yourself to money. Did you receive a helpful idea? Did you receive a moment of peace? Did you receive a beautiful sight, like a dramatic cloud formation or a child's laugh? Did you receive the gift of gravity holding you safely to the earth? Did you receive the nourishment from your food? When you begin to actively look for all the ways you are already receiving, you will be stunned. You will shift your focus from what you lack to the overwhelming evidence of the constant, unending flow of gifts you are already immersed in. This practice powerfully expands your identity from someone who is lacking to someone who is a master receiver. You can also use the power of your imagination to expand your energetic container. Find a quiet space and visualize yourself standing under a magnificent, gentle waterfall of pure golden light. This light represents the infinite love, well-being, and abundance of the universe. As the light begins to rain down on you, notice your first reaction. Do you shrink away? Do you feel you are not worthy of such a blessing? Do you feel an urge to put up an energetic umbrella? Just notice this with compassion. Then, make a new choice. In your mind's eye, consciously relax your body. Open your arms wide, tilt your face up to the waterfall, and give it permission to drench you completely. Feel the golden light flowing over you and into you, filling every cell of your being. Feel its warmth, its love, its richness. Practice staying in this receptive posture, feeling your container expand, feeling yourself become capable of holding more and more of this beautiful energy. Practice this until the act of receiving feels safe, natural, and joyful. Finally, understand that receiving is not a passive act. It is a conscious choice. And in choosing to receive fully, you are not being selfish. You are embracing a sacred responsibility. A vessel that is empty and cracked has nothing to offer the world. A vessel that is overflowing with abundance can nourish everyone it touches without diminishing itself. When you allow yourself to be filled to overflowing with the peace, joy, and resources of the universe, you become a powerful force for good. Your giving is no longer born of depletion and duty, but from a place of joyful, sustainable surplus. You become a beacon of what is possible. Now that you have bravely opened your floodgates, now that you are ready to allow this powerful current to flow into your life, it is time to understand the nature of that current itself. It is time to strip away all the fears and judgments we have projected onto money and to see it for what it truly is, a beautiful, neutral, and obedient servant of consciousness. We have bravely cleared the path. We have healed the wounds of our personal and ancestral past, and we have swung open the great floodgates of our being, declaring ourselves ready and worthy to receive. We have shifted from a state of chasing and resisting to one of allowing and trusting. The channel is open. The universal current of abundance is now free to flow into our lives. But as this current begins to gather force, we may encounter one final, formidable barrier. It is the deep, tangled, and often unconscious web of our beliefs and judgments about money itself. For most of us, money is not a simple tool. It is a loaded entity, a symbol we have imbued with immense power and a complex personality. We see it as a savior or a demon, a source of freedom or a root of evil. To achieve true financial grace, we must perform one last great act of liberation. We must strip money of all the meaning, power, and morality we have projected onto it and see it for what it truly is, a silent, neutral, and obedient current of energy. Humanity, in its long and complex history, has taken a simple tool and turned it into a deity. Money, in its essence, is an invention. It is an agreement, a social convention designed to facilitate the exchange of goods and energy. It began as shells, then rare metals, then paper notes, and now exists primarily as digital bits of information flashing across screens. In all its forms, it has no consciousness of its own. It has no will, no opinion, no agenda. A $100 bill has no more inherent morality than a hammer or a stone. And yet, we have projected the entirety of the human drama onto this inert tool. We say that money is the root of all evil, when in fact, it is the human emotions of greed, fear, and craving that are the root of evil. Money is simply the vehicle they often use. We say that money corrupts, when in fact, money only reveals. It amplifies the character of the person who holds it. We have confused the servant with the master, the tool with the hand that wields it. Your final task of inner freedom is to consciously withdraw all of these projections. It is to learn to see a coin, a note, a number in an account, not as a symbol of power or a seed of corruption, but as a neutral, potent token of energy, waiting silently for a consciousness, your consciousness, to give it a purpose and a direction. The most powerful metaphor to understand the true nature of money is to see it as electricity. Electricity is a fundamental force of the universe. It is a raw, powerful, and completely neutral current of energy. It is neither good nor evil. It holds no opinion and makes no judgments. It simply flows, waiting to be directed. Now, consider its application. This same neutral current of electricity can be channeled into a hospital incubator, where it sustains a fragile new life, provides warmth and oxygen, and becomes an instrument of what we would call profound goodness. The same neutral current can be diverted to power an electric chair, where it becomes an instrument of death, what we would call bad. The electricity itself did not change between the incubator and the chair. It did not become more virtuous or more sinister. It remained a neutral, obedient current. It simply amplified the intention of the person who harnessed it. The good or bad was not in the energy, but in the consciousness that directed the energy. Money is precisely the same. It is a current of creative, social energy. It is a form of power, and like electricity, it is inherently neutral in the hands of a person whose consciousness is aligned with love, compassion, and a desire to serve. This current of money becomes a force for incredible good. It flows to build schools, to fund groundbreaking art, to clean polluted rivers, to feed the hungry, and to spread joy. In the hands of a person whose consciousness is dominated by fear, scarcity, and a need for control, this very same neutral current flows to create exploitation, division, and suffering. The money is innocent in both cases. It is a loyal and powerful servant that simply follows the will of its master without question. The most important question you will ever ask is not, is money good or bad? The most important question is, what kind of master will I be? When you understand this, the fear that money will corrupt you dissolves. Money cannot make you something you are not. It can only make you more of what you already are. Think of money as a powerful magnifying glass. It does not alter the object being viewed. It simply makes its existing details larger and more apparent. If you are a person who is secretly fearful and insecure, wealth will not cure that. It will magnify it into paranoia. If you are a person who is fundamentally kind and generous, wealth will magnify that into world-changing philanthropy. You do not need to purify money. You need only to purify your own heart, to dedicate your own consciousness to love and service, and then trust that any amount of money flowing through you will be automatically purified by your own intention. You are the filter, you are the master. Money is the obedient flow. See this energy as a great river. For centuries, we have been taught to fear the river. We have been told it is dangerous, that it can drown you, that it is better to stay on the dry, safe land of just enough. And so, we watch from the banks, filled with a mixture of fear and longing, as this powerful current of potential flows by. A master of reality does not fear the river. They do not try to conquer it or fight it. They respect it. They study its currents. They build a strong, well-crafted vessel, their own consciousness, and then they place their vessel in the river, hoist their sail, and use the undeniable power of the current to carry them swiftly, easily, and joyfully to their destination. They are not fighting the flow. They are using it. They are in partnership with it. This is the relationship you must cultivate with the energy of money, one of respect, of partnership, of skillful navigation, not one of fear, worship, or judgment. When you can finally see money in this light not as a loaded emotional entity, but as a neutral, obedient, and powerful Savanta final, liberating truth dawns. If this energy is simply a current that amplifies and responds to the consciousness of its user, then your entire financial world is nothing more and nothing less than a perfect mirror of your own inner state. The amount of money that flows to you, the ease or struggle with which it comes, the way you feel when you spend it or receive it, none of this is random. It is not a reflection of the economy or your boss or your luck. It is a flawless reflection of your own beliefs, your own vibrations, your own wounds, and your own triumphs. Your bank account is a spiritual barometer. The world is not happening to you, it is responding through you. Therefore, to change your financial world, you do not argue with the reflection in the mirror. You do not try to manipulate the external world. You turn inward, and you adjust the self. Learning how to read this mirror, how to use your outer world as a perfect diagnostic tool for your inner landscape, is the final key to effortless and lasting mastery. We have arrived at a pivotal, empowering, and perhaps challenging truth. The energy of money is neutral. It is a current, an amplifier, a servant that flows where consciousness directs it, taking on the quality of the intention that guides it. This realization is the key that unlocks the final door of perception, for it leads us to an inescapable conclusion. Your outer financial world is nothing more than a perfect, flawless mirror of your inner world. The state of your bank account, the flow of your income, the nature of your debts and your assets, these are not random external circumstances. They are the unerring reflection of your deepest, most dominant beliefs and feelings about yourself, about life, and about wealth. To look upon your financial life is to look into the most honest mirror you will ever find. This concept can be difficult to accept because the ego wants to blame. It wants to point to the economy, to your employer, to your upbringing, to bad luck. It will do anything to avoid taking responsibility, because in the ego's distorted view, responsibility feels like blame. But we are not here to assign blame. We are here to reclaim our creative power. The principle of the mirror is not a judgment, it is a liberation. It means that you are not a helpless victim of a chaotic world. It means that the power to change your entire financial reality lies not in manipulating the external world, but in transforming the inner self that is being reflected. If you stand before a mirror and you do not like the sad expression you see, you do not try to paint a smile on the glass. You do not get angry at the mirror or shatter it in a rage. To do so would be insane. You understand intuitively that the reflection is just a messenger, The source of the expression is you. To change the reflection, you must smile, and the mirror, without judgment or delay, will smile back. Your financial reality is this mirror. Your debts, your savings, your income, they are messengers delivering a perfectly accurate report on your current vibrational state. Do not shoot the messenger. Instead, learn to read its report with the detached curiosity of a scientist and the gentle compassion of a healer. The numbers and circumstances are not a grade on your worth as a person. They are simply data points. They are the diagnostic printout from the great machine of your consciousness, showing you exactly what program you have been running. When you can look at your financial life from this perspective, fear dissipates and clarity dawns. You are no longer looking at a terrifying problem, but at a valuable set of clues that can lead you back to your own inner truth. Let us learn to read some of these reflections. What is your mirror showing you? If your reality is one of just enough where money seems to come in but flows out just as quickly, leaving you always on the edge, but never truly destitute, what is this reflecting? It may be mirroring a deep subconscious belief that says, "I only deserve enough to survive," or an energetic thermostat that is set to struggle but not to thrive. It could also reflect a fear of the responsibility or visibility that a true surplus might bring. Your mirror is saying, you are comfortable with the energy of getting by, but you are not yet comfortable with the energy of overflowing. If your reality is one of feast or famine, where you experience exhilarating periods of abundance, followed by dramatic and terrifying periods of lack, what is your mirror showing you? It is reflecting an inconsistent inner state. It shows that you are capable of achieving the vibration of abundance, which is wonderful news. But it also shows that you are not yet able to sustain it. The moment wealth arrives, old fears of loss or unworthiness may get triggered, causing you to shift your vibration back to scarcity. And the mirror faithfully reflects this shift by creating a new period of lack. The mirror is saying, your faith is intermittent. You believe in the flow only when you can see it. 1. If your reality is one of constant debt, of feeling weighed down by obligations, and a sense that you are always working to pay off the past, the mirror is offering a very profound message. Debt is often the physical manifestation of subconscious guilt or a feeling of unworthiness. It can reflect a deep belief that you do not deserve to be free, that you must be punished for something, or that you owe the world for your existence. It can be a reflection of a blockage in your ability to receive graciously, forcing you to take on energy, loans, that come with the heavy frequency of obligation. The mirror is saying, you do not yet believe in your own sovereign freedom. You believe you must pay a price to exist. Perhaps you have accumulated some money, but you live in a constant state of fear about spending it. You hoard it, you check it obsessively, you deny yourself pleasure and ease, even though you can technically afford it. Your mirror is reflecting a profound lack of trust in the universe. It is showing you a deep-seated belief that the source of abundance is finite. The mirror says, you believe this is all you will ever get, so you must cling to it with a white-knuckled grip. It is reflecting a disconnection from the truth that you are the ocean, not just the single wave. You are hoarding a cup of water, terrified, while the infinite expanse of the ocean is right behind you. Looking into this mirror requires courage and, above all, a radical commitment to non-judgment. When you look at these reflections, you must do so with the utmost compassion for the self that created them. That self was doing the best it could with the beliefs it was given. It was trying to protect you based on old programming. Your job is not to condemn it, but to lovingly update its programming with a new truth. The act of looking at your financial reality without flinching, without blaming, and without despairing is a profound spiritual practice. You are no longer avoiding the truth. You are using it. You are transforming your greatest source of pain into your most powerful diagnostic tool. With this new understanding, your relationship with your finances is forever changed. A bill arriving in the mail is no longer just a source of stress. It is a message from the mirror, asking you to check in with your feelings of security and trust. An unexpected expense is a pop quiz from the universe, testing your ability to remain in a state of expansion even when faced with a challenge. A sudden windfall is a joyful confirmation that your inner state of allowing is bearing fruit. Every single financial event becomes an opportunity for self-awareness and conscious creation. We have now learned to read the reflection in the mirror. We have received the clear, unbiased diagnosis of our inner world. We understand what our current reality is showing us about our subconscious programs. This knowledge is priceless, but it is only the first step. A diagnosis, no matter how accurate, is useless without a prescription for healing. Now that we know what film is playing, and we see its reflection on the screen of our lives, it is time to take on the joyful and ultimate power of the Creator. It is time to consciously and deliberately choose the new reflection we wish to see. It is time to write the script, to create the new film, and to thread it into the projector of our minds. We have stood before the great mirror of the world and have learned to read its honest, unflinching reflection. We have seen how our outer financial life is a perfect echo of our inner state of being. We have received the diagnosis. Now, with this powerful self-awareness, we move from the role of passive observer to that of the master artist, the conscious creator. If you do not like the reflection you see in the mirror, you must now create the new image you wish to see reflected. We will now learn the sacred and joyful art of scripting, the process of writing the story of your desired life into being. This is not an act of idle daydreaming or wishful thinking. This is a focused, potent, and disciplined practice. This is your quantum rehearsal. Consider a master actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. They do not simply memorize their lines. They seek to become the character. They delve into the character's mind, study their motivations, and most importantly, they feel the character's emotions in their own body. They rehearse a scene again and again, not just until they get the words right, but until they get the feeling right, until the boundary between their self and the character begins to dissolve. They rehearse until the role is no longer an act, but an embodied truth. This is precisely what you are about to do. You are the master actor, and the role you are preparing for is that of your highest, most abundant, most joyful self. Your script will be the story of that self, and your rehearsal will so saturate your consciousness with its reality that the universe will have no choice but to give you the stage upon which to perform it. Why is this rehearsal so powerful? Because the subconscious mind, the great engine of creation that directs the energy of the quantum field, does not know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. When you engage in a rehearsal that is rich with sensory detail and filled with genuine emotion, you are generating the precise neurological and biological signature of that reality within yourself. You are creating new neural pathways in your brain. You are changing your heart rate variability. You are teaching your very cells what this new reality feels like. You are sending a coherent, powerful, and undeniable electromagnetic signal into the field of potential. In essence, you are pre-paving the energetic highway to your desire, making its journey into your physical world smooth, swift, and inevitable. You are no longer hoping for a new reality. You are installing it from the inside out. Let us now detail the sacred art of this rehearsal. This is a ritual, and you must treat it as such. Do not rush this practice. Set aside a special time, perhaps in the quiet of the early morning or the stillness of the late evening. Create a space that feels calm and sacred to you. Light a candle, play soft instrumental music, put away your phone and any other distractions. This signals to your deeper mind that you are about to do holy work. Take out a notebook and a pen that feels good in your hand. The physical act of writing is important, as it engages your body in the creative process. The first and most crucial rule of scripting is this: you must write in the first person, present tense. You are not writing a letter to the universe asking for things. You are writing a diary entry from your future self who is already living the reality you desire. Do not write, "One day I will have a debt-free life." This phrase, by its very nature, affirms that you are not debt-free now and places your desire perpetually in the future. Instead, you must write, "It feels so incredible to be completely debt-free." Not, "I want to feel at peace about money," but, "A feeling of profound peace washes over me as I look at my finances." This collapses time. It takes a distant wish and pulls its reality into the only point of power you have, this present moment. The second key is to make your script a rich, multi-sensory experience. To make it real for your subconscious mind, you must engage all of your senses. Do not just describe the goal, describe the experience of having achieved it. As you write, ask yourself, "What do I see?" Describe your surroundings in vivid detail. "I am sitting on the balcony of my beautiful home, and I can see the sun glistening on the calm surface of the lake below. I see the healthy green leaves of the trees that surround my property." What do I hear? Immerse yourself in the soundscape of your new reality. "It is so peaceful here. I can hear the gentle sound of birdsong and the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. I hear the sound of my children laughing joyfully in the garden." What do I feel? Connect with the physical sensations. "I feel the warmth of the morning sun on my skin. I am holding a warm ceramic mug in my hands, and I can feel its comforting smoothness. I feel the solid, reassuring weight of the keys to my new office in my pocket." What do I smell? Scent is a powerful trigger for memory and emotion. I can smell the rich, earthy aroma of freshly brewed coffee beside me. The air itself smells clean and fresh, filled with the scent of pine from the nearby woods. After you have built this rich sensory world, you must infuse it with the most important ingredient of all: emotion. This is the fuel that launches your creation into the cosmos. Describe your feelings with passion and depth. "As I sit here, a wave of immense gratitude floods my entire being. I feel so utterly safe. I feel a deep, quiet, unshakable peace in my heart. The old anxieties are gone, replaced by a feeling of expansive freedom. I feel a profound sense of joy and a quiet, confident pride in what I have created." The more genuine emotion you can pour into your script, the more powerful your signal to the universe will be. A powerful technique used by the greatest mystics of manifestation is to script a short, specific scene which implies that your desire has been fulfilled for some time. Do not script the moment of receiving the money. Script a natural scene that takes place afterwards. For example, you could script a conversation with a trusted friend. Imagine your friend saying to you, "Isn't it amazing? I remember just a year ago when you were so worried about your finances, and look at you now. You seem like a different person, so relaxed and happy." And you script your reply, "I know, it's wonderful. I feel so free now. It all happened so much more easily than I ever could have imagined." This technique is incredibly potent because it normalizes your success, making it feel like an established, natural part of your life story. The written script is the sheet music. Now you must perform the music in the orchestra of your imagination. After you have written your script, put it down, close your eyes, and enter the scene you have just created. This is the quantum rehearsal. Do this in a state of deep relaxation, ideally just before you fall asleep at night or in the drowsy state just upon waking. This is when the veil between the conscious and subconscious mind is thinnest. Replay your scene in the first person. See through your own eyes. Hear with your own ears. Feel the emotions in your own body. Loop the scene over and over, like a short film, until it feels familiar, natural, and real. Let the feeling of peace, freedom, and gratitude be the last thing you experience as you drift off to sleep. This consistency, this nightly immersion in your new reality, is what hardwires it into your being. This is the work. It is not about struggle, but about creation. It is the joyful work of an artist, a dreamer, a powerful director of your own life's film. And like an actor who has rehearsed their part so perfectly that they no longer have to think about the lines, you will reach a point where this new reality is no longer a script you are reading. It is simply who you are. The rehearsal will be over, because the role has become your nature. Your next and final step is to walk out of the rehearsal room and onto the grand stage of your life, not acting like your new self, but simply being your new self in every waking moment. It is the final, magnificent art of assuming the wish fulfilled. The inner work is now complete. In the sacred, silent theater of your imagination, you have rehearsed your new reality. You have scripted the scenes of your success, engaged your senses, and saturated your being with the profound feelings of peace, freedom, and gratitude. The actor has learned their lines, the musician has tuned their instrument, the dreamer has become lucid. The inner blueprint is perfect, the energetic signature is strong and coherent. Now, we step out of the rehearsal room and onto the grand stage of our waking life. Now, we move from preparation to performance. But this is a performance unlike any other, for its goal is to be so authentic that it ceases to be a performance and becomes a simple, natural state of being. The final, crowning instruction for this phase of creation is the most simple and yet the most powerful of all. It is the mystic's secret, the master key that turns inner potential into outer fact. You must now assume the wish fulfilled. This is not the same as faking it till you make it. Faking it implies a duplicity, an inner awareness of lack, while projecting an outer facade of success. This creates a dissonant energy that cancels itself out. Assuming the wish fulfilled is an act of profound energetic integrity. It is the art of so completely unifying your inner and outer self in the truth of your new reality that the world has no choice but to conform. At its core is a critical distinction in the way you use your mind, the distinction between thinking of your desire and thinking from your desire. When you are thinking of your desire, you are in a state of separation. You are here, and your desire is out there, an object in the distance that you are observing, wanting, and moving towards. Thinking of your beautiful, debt-free home means you are mentally standing on the outside, looking at it. This perspective, no matter how positive, inherently affirms that you do not yet possess it. It is the consciousness of the seeker, the wanter, the striver. It perpetuates the vibrational gap between you and your goal. To think from your desire is to collapse that gap completely. It is to occupy the state of possession, not as a future goal, but as a present reality. To think from your beautiful, debt-free home means you are mentally standing inside it, looking out at the world through its windows. It is your natural habitat. You are no longer observing it. You are experiencing the world from its perspective. This is the consciousness of the owner, the creator, the sovereign being. This subtle but profound shift in perspective is the entire secret. Your work now, in every moment of your day, is to notice when you are thinking of your goal and to gently, lovingly, shift your perspective to thinking from it. The curtain has now risen on your day. You have awoken, you are on stage. Your only task is to remain in character. And who is the character you are playing? The character is the man or woman who is already financially free, who is already living in a state of profound peace and security, who is already the joyful master of their reality. How does this person move through their day? How do they think? How do they speak? How do they act? This is not something you have to invent on the spot. You know this character intimately because you have just spent time rehearsing as them in your quantum scripting. Now, you simply embody them. Ask yourself, How does a person who is free from financial anxiety walk? Do they move with tight, hunched shoulders, with a contracted chest and a fearful gaze, as if bracing for the next blow from life? Or do they walk with a relaxed, open posture, with their head held high, their breath deep and easy, moving through the world with a quiet confidence? In every moment, you have the choice to inhabit the posture of your old self or the posture of your assumed new self. Choose the new self. Straighten your spine, relax your shoulders, breathe, walk like the person you have decided to be. How does this person speak? Do they constantly complain about prices, lament their lack of resources, and engage in conversations about scarcity and struggle? Or do they speak of possibility, of joy, of gratitude? Do they speak with a tone of authority and ease? This does not mean you become arrogant or boastful. It means you eliminate the vocabulary of lack from your life. You cease to give energy to the old story. When the temptation arises to complain, you choose silence instead. You choose to speak from the consciousness of the person who has no need to complain because all is well in their world. How does this person make decisions? This is where the assumption becomes most practical. The old self made decisions based on fear and limitation. I can't afford that. I should choose the cheapest option. I can't take that risk. The new self, the self who is already abundant, makes decisions from a different place entirely. They ask, does this bring me joy? Is this aligned with my highest excitement? Does this expand my sense of freedom and well-being? When faced with a choice, a purchase, an opportunity, do not ask your bank account what you should do. Ask the character you are playing. What would the wealthy, free, and secure version of you choose? Then, as much as you are able, make that choice. This might mean buying the slightly more expensive, better quality coffee, not because you are being reckless, but as a declaration of worthiness. It is a small, physical act that affirms your new assumption about who you are. This transformation is like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. The caterpillar dissolves within the chrysalis, a process of inner alchemy much like the scripting and rehearsal you have just completed. When the butterfly finally emerges, it does not spend its time trying to remember how to be a butterfly. It does not look at its wings and wonder what they are for. It simply is a butterfly. It instinctively opens its wings and flies. It seeks nectar. It has fully and completely assumed its new nature. You must emerge from the chrysalis of your inner work and simply be the butterfly. Do not question it. Do not look back at your caterpillar self. Just fly. Or think of it as learning a new language. At first, it is a conscious, clumsy effort. You have to mentally translate every word from your old, native tongue, the consciousness of lack, into the new language, the consciousness of abundance. But if you immerse yourself in the new language, if you live it and breathe it, you eventually reach a tipping point. You stop translating. You begin to think in the new language. It becomes your new native tongue. It feels natural, effortless. Assuming the wish fulfilled is the practice of total immersion in the language and logic of your new reality, until it becomes the very medium of your thought. Every moment of your day is now an opportunity. Opening your mail is an opportunity to assume the feeling of joyful expectation rather than anxious dread. Answering the phone is an opportunity to speak with the calm, confident voice of your new self. Interacting with others is an opportunity to radiate the quiet peace of someone whose needs are always met. You have rehearsed the feeling in private. Now you live the feeling in public. You are not waiting for the world to change to give you permission to feel wealthy and secure. You are embodying the feeling of being wealthy and secure, thereby giving the world a new set of instructions, a new reflection to mirror back to you. This practice simplifies everything. It all comes down to a choice you make, moment by moment by moment. In any given instant, there are two fundamental states of consciousness you can occupy. One is the state of the person still striving, still wanting, still lacking. The other is the state of the person who already is, already has, and is already free. All of your thoughts, feelings, and actions will flow from one of these two states. To be a master of your life is to become acutely, exquisitely aware of these two currents, and to learn how to consciously, deliberately, and consistently choose to live in the state of the wish already fulfilled. We have now arrived at the pinnacle of the creative process, the simple yet profound practice of assuming the wish fulfilled. This is the art of living, not in hope, but in knowing, not in wanting, but in having. This practice simplifies the entire journey down to a single, continuous choice made in every present moment. For in any given instant, regardless of your external circumstances, there are only two fundamental states of being, two great currents of consciousness from which you can operate. Your entire life experience, your joy or your suffering, your lack or your abundance, will be determined by which of these two currents you choose to place your vessel in. These currents are poverty consciousness and wealth consciousness. It is crucial to understand that these terms have absolutely nothing to do with the amount of money in your bank account. They are descriptions of an inner landscape, a worldview, a vibrational home. A billionaire can be hopelessly trapped in the turbulent waters of poverty consciousness, living in a constant state of fear, scarcity, and competition. And a person with very modest means can be serenely floating in the clear, powerful current of wealth consciousness, living in a state of trust, gratitude, and peace. One is a prison, the other is a kingdom, and the choice of where you reside is always, and only, yours. Let us first examine the murky, turbulent current of poverty consciousness. Its foundational belief, the bedrock upon which it is built, is the simple, devastating idea: there is not enough. From this single thought, an entire reality of suffering is born. If there is not enough, then life must be a competition. It is a zero-sum game where, for me to win, someone else must lose. If my neighbor gets a new car, my subconscious mind believes that they have taken a piece of the finite pie that should have been mine. Their success becomes a threat to my own. This worldview is rooted in separation and comparison. The emotional signature of poverty consciousness is fear. It is the low-grade chronic anxiety that you might lose what you have, and the desperate fear that you will never get what you need. It is the bitterness of resentment towards those who seem to have it easier, and the sharp pang of envy that poisons any joy you might feel for another's good fortune. It is a state of feeling like a perpetual victim, tossed about by the cruel whims of a stingy and uncaring world. The mind trapped in this current is a masterful accountant of lack. Its gaze is permanently fixed on what is missing. It scans every situation for potential loss. It replays a mental highlight reel of every past failure and disappointment, using them as evidence to predict a future of more of the same. When presented with an opportunity, its first question is not, "What could be gained?" but, "What could I lose?" Its inner dialogue is a litany of limitation. "I can't afford it. That's not for people like me. It's too good to be true." It lives in a state of constant, exhausting vigilance against a world it perceives as fundamentally hostile and scarce. This consciousness inevitably leads to behaviors of hoarding, of clinging tightly to what little you have, of being resistant to generosity because it feels like you are giving away a vital piece of your own survival. It is the consciousness of the clenched fist. Now, let us turn our gaze to the other current, the crystal clear, powerful, and life-affirming flow of wealth consciousness. Its foundational belief is the polar opposite, a simple and liberating truth: there is more than enough. From this thought, a reality of grace and ease is born. If the source of all good is infinite, then life is not a competition, but a creative collaboration. Your success does not diminish me, it inspires me. It is proof of what is possible. There is no finite pie to be divided, only an infinite ocean of potential from which we can all draw freely. This worldview is rooted in oneness and creation. The emotional signature of wealth consciousness is trust. It is a deep, abiding faith in the goodness of life and in one's own power as a creator. It is the calm peace that comes from knowing you are always provided for. It is the expansive joy of generosity, knowing that the more you give, the more you will have to give. It is the quiet gratitude that hums in the background of your days, not as a practice, but as a natural state. It is the feeling of being the sovereign author of your life, not a helpless character in someone else's play. The mind abiding in this current is an artist of possibility. Its gaze is focused on opportunity, on beauty, on what can be created. It sees the success of others as a joyful confirmation of the universe's generosity. It views past challenges not as failures, but as valuable lessons that have made it stronger and wiser. It looks to the future with joyful anticipation, asking, "What magnificent thing can I create today? How can I contribute my gifts?" Its inner dialogue is one of empowerment. All things are possible. I am worthy of all good. Life loves to support me. This consciousness naturally leads to behaviors of joyful circulation. Energy, in the form of money, ideas, and love, is allowed to flow in easily and flow out easily. It is the consciousness of the open hand, able to both give and receive with grace. Imagine the river of life. Flowing within it, side by side, are these two distinct currents. One is dark and murky, filled with the debris of old fears and resentments. It flows in a chaotic, turbulent spiral, going nowhere fast. This is poverty consciousness. Right next to it, separated by only an invisible line, is a current that is clear, powerful, and sun-drenched. It flows with tremendous speed and purpose directly toward the great ocean of fulfillment. This is wealth consciousness. You are in a boat on this river. At every single moment, you are choosing which current to place your boat in. You make this choice not with your hands, but with your focus, with your attention, with the feeling state you choose to embody. When you catch yourself thinking a thought of lack, you are allowing your boat to drift into the murky waters. When you deliberately shift your focus to a feeling of gratitude, you are steering your boat back into the clear, powerful flow. This is not a one-time decision. It is a moment-by-moment practice in mindful navigation. It is the true work of the conscious creator. When a bill arrives, you have a choice. You can drift into the current of fear, or you can deliberately steer into the current of trust, knowing you are always provided for. When you see another's success, you have a choice. You can drift into the current of envy, or you can steer into the current of inspiration, celebrating their success as a harbinger of your own. Every thought, every word, every feeling is an act of steering. As you become more adept at keeping your vessel in the clear, powerful current of wealth consciousness, you will notice its incredible power and speed. You will feel yourself being carried forward by a grace that is not your own. And this is when a new and higher understanding begins to dawn. A great river does not flow just for the sake of flowing. It has a destination. A powerful current is not an end in itself. It is a means to carry something of value to a greater body of water. When you successfully and consistently align yourself with this magnificent current of abundance, you will find that it does not wish to terminate with you. It is not meant to simply pool around you in a private lake of personal comfort. This great flow wants to move through you, to be used by you to contribute to the whole. Understanding this higher purpose, understanding what this abundance is truly for, is the final step in moving from being a mere master of your own life to becoming a true servant of life itself. We have traveled to the very core of our creative power. We have learned to navigate the two great currents of consciousness and have consciously chosen to place our vessel in the clear, powerful, sun-drenched flow of wealth consciousness. We feel its current carrying us forward now with a new and wonderful ease. And as we float in this state of grace, a new and final question begins to arise from the depths of our soul. It is the great and ultimate why. The universe, having seen that you have mastered the how of creation, now leans in and whispers, "You can have anything you desire. So tell me, what is this great wealth truly for?" Answering this question is the key that unlocks not just personal abundance, but a life of profound meaning, purpose, and miracles. For a time, our desires are born of the ego's needs. We desire comfort, security, recognition, and freedom from pain. This is a natural and necessary stage of human development. The desire for a safe home, for enough food, for the ability to provide for one's family without struggle, these are beautiful, valid desires, and the universe delights in fulfilling them. But if our vision ends there, if our grandest ambition is simply to accumulate personal comfort and insulate ourselves from the world, we are using a quantum supercomputer to play a game of tic-tac-toe. The creative charge of a purely self-serving desire is finite. It has a ceiling. This is because the universe itself operates on a principle of maximal contribution and evolution. It invests its greatest energies and orchestrates its most magnificent miracles for projects that serve the flourishing of the whole. To unlock unlimited, overflowing, and sustainable abundance, you must connect your personal desire to a transpersonal purpose. You must give the universe a reason bigger than your own comfort to bless you. Many who achieve great financial success without this deeper why find themselves on what is known as the hedonic treadmill. They get the car, the house, the status they craved, and for a fleeting moment, they feel a thrill. But soon, the novelty fades, and an empty, hollow feeling returns. The feeling of, is this all there is? This is not a tragedy. It is a spiritual graduation. It is the soul signaling that it has outgrown the ego's limited playground and is now ready to play a bigger game. It is the call to move from success to significance. It is the invitation to transform your desire for wealth from a personal acquisition into a sacred offering for the world. To understand this principle, we must embrace the law of divine circulation. You are not meant to be a final destination for abundance. You are designed to be a conduit. You are a channel through which the infinite energy of the universe can flow, express itself, and bless the world. Think of the difference between a stagnant pond and a flowing river. The stagnant pond is the consciousness of hoarding. It is driven by the fear that its supply is limited, so it greedily holds on to every drop of water it receives. It never gives, it only takes. And what is the result? Its water becomes murky, lifeless, and putrid. It breeds decay. In its desperate attempt to keep everything for itself, the pond chokes off its own life force and dies. This is the fate of a consciousness trapped in fear-based accumulation. Now, consider the flowing river. The river is the consciousness of circulation. It receives water freely and generously from the mountain springs and the falling rain, the infinite source. It does not try to hoard this water. It knows its source is limitless. Instead, it joyfully allows the water to flow through it, and in doing so, it gives life to everything it touches. It nourishes the great forests on its banks. It irrigates the fertile fields that feed the nations. It provides the water that builds great cities. It is a dynamic, vibrant, life-giving force. And because it is always giving, its channel remains clear and deep, allowing it to receive even more from the source. Its vitality is a direct result of its constant, joyful outpouring. The universe is calling you to stop being a stagnant pond and to become a mighty river. It is inviting you to be a clear and powerful channel for its own abundance to flow into the world. Imagine yourself as a magnificent stained glass window in a great cathedral. The divine light of the universe, pure, white, unmanifested potential shines upon the cathedral. This is the light of infinite supply. Your unique soul, with its specific passions, talents, and joys, is the unique pattern and combination of colored glass in your window. When you are closed off, when you are hoarding and fearful, it is as if your window is boarded up. The light cannot get through. But when you dedicate your life to a higher purpose, you are unboarding the window. You are allowing the pure white light of universal abundance to shine through you. As it passes through the unique filter of your being, it emerges into the world not as white light, but as a breathtakingly beautiful display of color and form that only you could create. One person's window may cast a light that heals the sick. Another's may cast a light that inspires through art. Another's may cast a light that creates innovative solutions to environmental problems. The light is one. Its expressions are infinite. Your purpose is to become the most brilliant and clear window you can possibly be, allowing the light of abundance to pour through you and leave its beautiful, unique mark on the world. So how do you discover this sacred offering? How do you find the unique purpose of your window? You do not have to go on a difficult quest. Your purpose is not a heavy burden you must bear. It is a profound joy you must uncover. The universe has hidden the clues to your greatest contribution in the trail of your deepest, most authentic joy. Ask yourself, what do I love to do so much that I would do it even if I were not paid? What subject could I talk about for hours without tiring? What problem in the world breaks my heart and ignites a fire in me to find a solution? What activities make me lose all track of time? Your joy is not a frivolous distraction. It is your soul's compass pointing directly to the work you were born to do. Then, identify your unique gifts. What comes easily to you that seems difficult for others? Are you a natural teacher, a gifted communicator, a talented organizer, a compassionate listener, a brilliant strategist? These are not random personality traits. These are the divinely bestowed tools you have been given to carry out your purpose. Your offering lies at the intersection of what brings you the most joy and what you are uniquely gifted to do. Once you have a sense of this, you can formulate a powerful purpose statement that links your personal desire for abundance to this higher calling. It is the act of creating your great why. It takes the form of, I am joyfully and gratefully receiving your financial desire, so that I can, your sacred offering. For example, I am joyfully receiving a passive income of $50,000 a month, so that I can dedicate my time to creating free meditation resources that bring peace to people's minds. Or, I am gratefully receiving millions of dollars so that I can build a sanctuary for abandoned animals and give them a life of love and dignity. That is the magic key. It transforms a selfish desire into a divine partnership. When you present the universe with such a proposal, you are no longer just a child asking for an allowance. You become a project manager presenting a brilliant business plan to the CEO of the cosmos. You are saying, I have identified a way to increase the total amount of love, beauty, or healing in your world. I have the unique passion and skills to execute this plan. Fund me, use me. I am ready to be your hands and feet. This is an irresistible proposal. The universe will rush to fund a project that serves its own expansion. When you align with this higher purpose, all the old fears about receiving wealth simply dissolve. The fear of unworthiness vanishes because you realize it's not about you. You are simply a steward, a caretaker of universal resources for a divine project. The fear of visibility disappears because you are proud of the work you are doing in the world. The fear of obligation evaporates because you are receiving not from a person, but from the infinite source, and your way of repaying the source is by carrying out your mission with joy. You become an open and grateful channel, and the more you can handle, the more the universe will send through you. Your personal needs are effortlessly met as a side effect of you serving the whole. This is the final and most beautiful secret of wealth. It is not for you. It is for life, flowing through you. You have now learned the techniques. You have mastered your inner state, and you have discovered your sacred purpose. The architecture of the conscious creator is complete. The scaffolding of practice has served you well, but it is no longer needed. The final step of this journey is to let all technique fall away, to cease practicing, and to simply become. It is the final integration, where the creator and the creation merge into one seamless, joyful, and abundant expression of life itself. We have come to the end of a great journey, a sacred pilgrimage, not across land or sea, but through the vast, luminous landscapes of your own consciousness. We began by acknowledging the illusion of our separation from wealth, and realized we are made of its very substance. We learned that our focused awareness is the creative power that collapses potential into reality. We courageously dismantled the old architecture of lack, clearing the debris of personal and ancestral wounds. We discovered the universe's secret language of feeling and practiced cultivating the inner states of abundance, independent of outer conditions. We learned to collapse time by living in the eternal now, to release our desires with the ultimate faith of detachment, and to read the flawless mirror of our world. We have shifted our actions from desperate hustle to inspired flow, learned to dance with the synchronicities of a responsive universe, harnessed the quantum power of gratitude, and finally, connected our personal desires to a great and sacred purpose. All of these steps, these practices, these techniques and metaphors have served as a kind of divine scaffolding. They were the necessary support structure, the tools, the ladders, and the blueprints required for you to construct the magnificent inner temple of your new self. But the scaffolding was never intended to be the building. It was always meant to be temporary. Now, the temple is built. Its foundations are solid, its walls are strong, its inner light is brilliant. The time has come for the scaffolding to fall away. The time has come to move beyond the techniques and to simply inhabit the magnificent structure you have built. The time has come to cease practicing how to be a creator and to simply be the creator. Consider the process of learning to drive a car. At first, every action is a conscious, clumsy, and stressful effort. The novice driver is hyper-aware of every component. I must check the mirror. Now, I press the clutch with my left foot. I move the gear stick into position. Now, I gently release the clutch while applying pressure to the accelerator. The mind is a flurry of instructions, and the resulting motion is often jerky and uncertain. This is the student of conscious creation. They are diligently practicing their techniques. Now I must do my scripting. Now I must feel the feeling. Now I must practice gratitude. Now I must check my inner barometer. This is a vital and necessary stage of learning. But what happens after years of practice? The master driver does not think about the clutch or the accelerator. They do not consciously command their hands to turn the wheel. The skills have moved from the strained, limited conscious mind into the vast, powerful, and intuitive subconscious. The act of driving has become an embodied knowing, a second nature. They can navigate complex highways, listen to music, and hold a conversation, all while their body executes the intricate dance of driving with flawless, automatic grace. They are no longer a person practicing driving. They are a driver. This is the state you are now entering. This is the integration into the quantum creator. You will reach a point, sooner than you think, where you no longer need to consciously practice these principles because you will have become them. You will no longer need to set aside time to feel abundant because a state of peaceful abundance will be your new, natural homeostasis. You will no longer need to remind yourself to look for things to be grateful for because your eyes will naturally see the world through the lens of gratitude. You will no longer have to consciously decide to trust the universe, because a deep, abiding faith will be the very ground upon which you walk. The state of contraction will begin to feel alien to you, a dissonant note in the symphony of your being. When it does arise, you will notice it instantly and release it with the ease of a relaxed sigh. Not as a chore, but as a simple act of energetic hygiene, like brushing a piece of lint off your clothes. The dialogue of synchronicity will no longer be a surprising or mystical event. It will be your normal mode of communication with the cosmos, a constant, flowing, and joyful conversation. You will move through your days guided by a clear and effortless intuition, and the perfect encounters and right opportunities will simply appear on your path, not as miracles, but as the natural order of your life. Your relationship with action will be permanently transformed. The desperate hustle will be a distant memory, an old way of being you can look back on with compassion. Your actions will flow from a place of inspiration and play. You will find yourself working with an intensity and focus you have never known, yet it will not feel like work. It will feel like joy. It will feel like art. It will feel like your soul expressing its purpose. And in this state of joyful, purposeful expression, the question of attracting money will become entirely irrelevant. You will have ceased to chase wealth completely. Instead, abundance in all its forms, money, love, opportunities, and ideas will be chasing you. It will flow to you and through you in ever-increasing waves, because it is the necessary fuel for the joyful and important work you are doing in the world. You will have become such a clear and powerful channel for divine circulation that the universe will delight in sending more and more of its resources through you to bless the world. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the dissolution of the final identity, the identity of the spiritual seeker. A seeker is, by definition, one who is looking for something outside of themselves. They are looking for the next book, the next teacher, the next technique that will finally give them the answer. The journey you have taken has led you to the only possible conclusion. There is nothing outside of you. The power, the source, the love, the wealth, it was always within you. You were never separate from it. The entire journey was not about finding something new, but about remembering what you have always been. The search is over. There is nothing more to learn, and nothing more to do. The techniques have served their purpose. The work is done. All that is left is the simple, profound, and joyful act of being the master who walks in knowing, being the river that flows in trust, being the artist who creates with love, being the magnificent temple of abundance you have so patiently and beautifully built. Rest here. Inhabit this new self. Feel its peace, its power, its quiet certainty. Let the echo of this long journey settle within you, not as a memory in your mind, but as a new and permanent resonance in the very core of your soul. For this is no longer something you are learning. It is who you are. And so, we arrive at the end of our journey together, which is, in truth, the beginning of your own. We have walked a path inward, away from the noise and chaos of the external world, and into the silent, potent center of your own creative power. We began as a wave, believing ourselves to be small, separate, and at the mercy of the vast ocean of life. But we have awakened to the truth that we are not the wave, we are the ocean itself, and all of its power, its depth, and its substance is our own. We learned that the world we perceive is but a mirror, flawlessly reflecting the truth of who we are being. We discovered that to change the reflection, we must cease our struggle with the glass and turn our attention to the one who is being reflected. We learned the language of the cosmos, a language not of words, but of feeling. We understood that our thoughts are the blueprint, but our emotions are the divine current that brings that blueprint to life. We practiced the sacred art of rehearsal, of scripting our new reality and assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, until the role we were playing, and the self that was playing it merged into one. We learned to trust the whispers of inspired action over the shouts of desperate hustle, and to greet the winks of synchronicity with the knowing smile of a co-creator engaged in a cosmic dialogue. We transformed our being into a vessel of gratitude and opened ourselves to receive the infinite blessings that have always been waiting for our permission to flow. Stand now, not in a world of solid, separate and stubborn things, but see it for what it is. You are standing before a luminous, shimmering field of pure potential, an infinite sea of unformed light, where every possibility awaits your command. Your power to create does not lie in the strength of your hands to grasp, to force, or to control. It lies in the frequency of your heart, in the state of being you choose to embody. Your feeling is the gentle, irresistible gravity that gathers this starlight into the constellations of your life. Let the techniques, the rules, and the steps now fall away. Let them dissolve into the simple, integrated truth of your new existence. And carry this knowing, this mantra, not as a phrase to be repeated, but as the very rhythm of your soul. I do not chase, I do not force. I become, and in my becoming, all things are given. Rest in this stillness, rest in this knowing. The work is done, all is well.